होगा जरूर Fiji Indian TV Fiji Indian TV
Fiji Indian TV, providing entertainment for the Fiji Indians around the globe. Every Sunday from 1 p.m. www.fijiindiantv.com. Be there.
Hi guys, मैं हूँ परम शिवन और आप सबको हम स्वागत करते हैं Fiji Indian TV. How are you guys?
गुड परम और सभी जितने भी दर्शक हैं उनको हम तहे दिल से स्वागत कर रहे हैं एक और एपिसोड यानी एपिसोड 55.
चार महाराथी हम जुड़ चुके हैं एक बार फिर और स्क्रीन में देखिए कि अगर आपको आपकी जो हाथ है वो कट रही है तो इग्नोर प्लीज एंड वी आर लिसनिंग हियर ऑन लाइव Fiji Indian TV पे है आप इस प्रोग्राम को आप देख रहे हैं. You can listen to us as well on radiosana.com as well as
FijiIndianTV.com.
Come on, you guys take the board while I start giving
Noji,
and
welcome.
Thank you.
How are you today?
Yeah, बहुत खूब जितने ही व्यूअर्स है आउट देयर हम सबको स्वागत करते हैं कार्यक्रम में और
कर सकते हैं वेट कर सकते हैं
आज
हेलो अंकल
it's a very good program today, another episode 55 और सब we'll take it from there. Hope everyone is listening and you guys are doing well.
Welcome everybody from Anil Kumar. 55 यानी कि लीमा संगपुल का लीमा हमारे आदिवासी में बोलते हैं. 55th episode. We are rapidly approaching our 100th before we know it.
बिल्कुल it's good to see. I mean not long ago we celebrated our 50th yeah. So we're getting very close to that now. So
sure, we're having some very balmy weather, cool.
बामी के मतलब कुछ बास डाल में था.
इंग्लिश बामी लोगन बोल रहे हैं बामी मतलब थोड़ा कूल होने लगा, ठंडा आने लगा.
सुबह के वक्त कुछ ठंडी पड़ रही है.
थोड़ा ठंडा ना. Well guys, you are listening to radiosana.com plus you are watching us live here on Fiji Indian TV. ये प्रसारण जो हम कर रहे हैं ये आप देख रहे हैं colorful clothes you're watching. It is coming through here in Sydney और हमारा studios का email address है guys
www.fijiindiantv@hotmail.
FijiIndianTV@hotmail.
बिल्कुल.
The other one you gave is also correct, which is our web address.
Yes, और today we've got a very गर्मा गर्म खबर. But before we proceed to the गर्मा गर्म खबर, what's happening around the world? क्या समाचार लेकर आए आप लोग?
एक बैड न्यूज़ था, एक और प्लेन क्रैश हुआ है. आई थिंक सबको ये समाचार से वाकिफ होंगे.
बिल्कुल.
जर्मन एयरवेज एंड ऑल 150 पीपल का डेथ हो गया.
It was basically it wasn't accident. It was deliberately done by the co-pilot basically.
It's a sad story.
It's a very sad story. Yeah.
Still unfolding.
Yes.
Still unfolding, yeah.
What's your take on that, Noji?
Well, I think they found out that this guy, the pilot, was depressed in his life, and before he did this act, he did mention to his girlfriend even that his name will be people would know him by his name.
Yeah.
So he was planning this probably, and he probably chose that.
अपने नाम को अमर करने के लिए किया वो.
Well, I think it has more to do with depression, na?
I mean,
mental illness.
Yeah, I was listening to the news this morning, and basically he in his past week or so he went to 3 psychiatric treatments before he
so
actually
he did have erratic mental health.
Yeah,
he did.
Okay, the other thing, obviously he locked out the pilot, no?
Yeah, the main pilot actually I think he went to
and he was a very young pilot too, in his 20s I take it. Late 20s.
I think the aviation is making a rule where they has to be two
pilots
in the cockpit all the time.
Yeah.
And these things there always be loopholes. We just need to close the loopholes and see how you could actually have a flight safe.
I mean, long haul flights mein dekha jaye to there is always 3 people on the cockpit basically. There's a flight engineer which is basically is always there. And you go to the 2 pilots, and I think there's 3 pilots in there. One main pilot, and there's a first officer and a co-pilot.
This was A320 जो कि हमारे यहाँ कॉमन है. जैसे कि हम few episodes ago बात करते थे परम जी illness के बारे में, mental illness, दिमागी बीमारी कोई नहीं बता सकता है बाहर से. He was appeared as a normal person.
There were a few signs and symptoms because his co-workers also mentioned that they had seen some things, the signs they were
some erratic
he was
behavior
doing few things, but no one could relate to him doing something that worse.
Drastic, तो नहीं है.
And now people are actually coming up with the things that they knew about him, which is sad.
Too late too.
बिल्कुल. I mean It's sad news, but I suppose, I mean, you can't control all those things, you know.
उधर स्टेट इलेक्शन था और
बिल्कुल.
What happened, by the way? I don't know what's
Labour
about
lost.
it.
Labour lost.
Labour lost.
We lost the game. Like, I
15,
lost the
15,
game.
52
But I didn't
seats, I
vote
think.
for Labour this time. I'm
Yeah.
very honest now.
So it's
I didn't
Liberal?
vote for Labour this time.
देखते हैं लिबरल क्या करता है जिससे there has to be उधर क्वींसलैंड में हम देखते हैं तो न्यूमैन कैम्पबेल he lost his seat
Labour lost.
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
other side. So इधर यहाँ पर स्टेट इलेक्शन तो हो गया है तो इससे क्या प्रगति होती है. This is the most important thing because I think at the moment state government is suffering as well in terms
Struggling.
of
We're struggling.
जो funds थे ना deficit funds जो है उसको कैसे ऊपर लाएं. और मैं ये भी सुना हूँ कि जो working parents है उसका जो tax है शायद ऊपर चल जाएगा. So it will also
This is after post-election or pre-election?
well probably this is the talk that's coming up. So it will actually affect families as well.
देखा जाए, I mean, if you look at a financial point of view, I mean, basically क्या होता है, हमारे पास भी घर में एक budget होता है. We look at the budget as well. So basically we make budget according to the income.
ओवर बजट हो जाता है, बट कोई बात नहीं.
Yeah, then the credit card comes in.
$1,000 का साड़ी ले हुए है, काहे साड़ी लिया है, तुम काहे इतना बड़का म्यूजिकल बाजा ले लिया है, तो वो कौन सी डिवोर्स है ना फिर कच के जरिए से.
बिल्कुल. So I mean, every state and every country has got the budgets, and they have to fit between the revenue what the expenditure they've got. So each and every government, there's a million things.
Very important.
Don't forget, guys. Today is the ICC cricket final as well.
MCG में. Yeah.
Go New Zealand. Australia will win.
New Zealand and Australia. Australia is too strong. I was disappointed with India going down with 95 runs. 98 runs. They played well, but अंत में वो है people just concentrated on the failure, ना? They forgot the good games before that.
But you never know, it's a game, anything can happen.
Anything.
किसी को चोट पहुंच सकती है and whatever, anything can happen.
Sure.
And we enjoyed. We enjoyed. It's not just about winning and lose. Even in India in its loss, we saw 2 sixes from Dhoni towards the end. Exciting.
I think it's not important whether you win the game or lose the game. It's important how you play the game, and people do remember that. और आज जो SCG में जो game होगा, I think Australia does very well in their own backyard. New Zealand is on the other side, very strong team. But देखना है.
Well, this is the first game that New Zealand will be playing outside New Zealand, basically.
Yeah. And
इधर है.
Melbourne or Sydney?
Melbourne.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Oh, Melbourne. Yeah.
MCG.
Yeah. And Australia is ready to go. And one of the players it's the last match too.
Captain Michael Clark, Akri game, yeah.
Yes,
Has been a very
he's going to hang his bat up.
No, from ODI, one day international.
He'll still be playing.
Still be playing Test cricket, and yeah.
What time does the game start?
2 p.m.
Oh, so it's going to be dissecting our program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dissecting our divorce program today. Well, I suppose people can listen to us as well as watch the cricket live.
I hope people can keep us posted on the scores. Paramji.
टीवी में ऐसे से कान में हम लोग के लगा कि सुनो और देखो क्रिकेट.
ऐसे करेगा कोई बोले टेनिस तो नहीं देखे इधर उधर.
पूसी भी संग करेगा, पूसी भी तो जैसे डोज करी संग से घर में. Well, let's get ahead with the program, ladies and gentlemen. And the hot topic today is divorce, and everybody at one stage, those who are divorced, not everybody, but those who are divorced go through this in their life somehow, and कुछ ना कुछ उनकी जिंदगी में रिजबुल होती है. A lot of losses, some gain, some lose. उसके बारे में हम बात करेंगे. Head off to our chat rooms, which is on www.
FijiIndianTV.com.
And also the chat room is actually on Radio Afsana site, which is www, guys.
RadioAfsana.com.
Yes, head off over there and you can see लोग उसमें chat कर रहे हैं and commenting already कि what is divorce and why, so pros and cons, and I hope you guys have researched. My little sheet is over there which I haven't managed to get through, but I will get through to that. Let's have a little bit of a song and we'll come back to that shortly.
This year, an Indian star is born. The star is Fiji Indian TV, featuring a live web TV show covering news, current affairs, sports, Bollywood gupshup, Konchi Pakaya, Aao Chat Kare, FITV Talent Time, live coverage and more. Join us with your host Param Sivan. Fiji Indian TV, providing entertainment for the Fiji Indians around the globe. Every Sunday from 1 p.m. www.FijiIndianTV.com. Be there.
Yes, and you are glued into FijiIndianTV.com, www.FijiIndianTV.com. हर सप्ताह हम कुछ ना कुछ एपिसोड लेके आते हैं, and we are on the 55 episode, by the way, guys.
55, number 55.
Yes, streaming, live streaming, and if you're watching first time, but please, if you are watching, do subscribe, because YouTube, when you go, there's subscription buttons. It tells us how many people have actually subscribed. So if you don't subscribe, we will close down eventually. You know, there's some need over there. अगर मुझे पता चलता है, we should know people are watching us.
Yeah, बिल्कुल.
Need social support चाहिए. Whole media
definitely. If this program actually entices you, or you can't come home जल्दी से आके बैठ के on करते हैं. You know, some people are like that. I used to love programs like that.
हमारे कुछ फ्रेंड्स भी घोर लिए हुए जल्दी से बैठ गए. Ready watching.
Hello कर दो लोग.
My sister is here from America. Hello there, Anju, and her husband
Watching
and kids watching live.
Oh, that's good. Hello, sir. Welcome.
They're doing a Lovo, so they'll be
Lovo हो रहा है. तो पार्टी इधर है. Lunch is
Blacktown.
Lunch is at your place
Special
today.
Lovo for the from the USA. थोड़ा देरी में शाम को. तो कहीं पर अगर धुआं लैंकेस्टर स्ट्रीट में निकलता होगा, आप लोग फायर ब्रिगेड मत बुला देना वो लोग.
Well, guys, it's a very important day today because it's Sunday, firstly. Secondly, our Liberal Party has actually won the election. Thirdly, we're talking about divorce, and hopefully, divorce, you won't go through this if you listen to young kids, though I'm not expecting any young kids to listen to this program or watch this program, but they're probably listening. So, I'll start, जैसे कि हमेशा की तरह, I'll be outside of the box and these three guys will be inside the box. Firstly, we'll introduce and divorce है क्या, and उसके बारे में I'll start from you guys over there on the end, so we'll come through this way.
Start with me again?
डाक बाबू के साथ.
अच्छा डाट मार. अच्छा I'll introduce again quickly and then I'll go to Noji to start the comments.
Actually, before I proceed, I must say you two look very nice on the screen.
Thank you.
जोड़ी तुम लोग के हैं. कौन नाम है ना? मैच करे. काफी जन ने कमेंट करे. मैंने बोले कि नोजी आइस बोले 4 चांद लगा दी से, तो चांद लगी मुझे कुछ कुछ कहाँ से 4 ऐसे.
चांद सितारे 3 सितारे भी हैं यहाँ पर. अच्छा डिवोर्स, उसको तलाक उर्दू में बोलते हैं. बोलते हैं हमारे जो पंडित वगैरह पूर्वज की, हमारे जो हिंदुस्तानी नॉर्थ इंडियन कल्चर में डिवोर्स के लिए कोई शब्द ही नहीं है.
बिल्कुल, there is no such word as divorce in our culture.
I am subject to education. कि हमारा जब हिंदू धर्म में शादी होता है, अग्नि फेरे देते हैं, that is it, you are bound. जनन जर्मन क्लियर, राइट. तो डिवोर्स जो शब्द है, डाई मतलब अक्रॉस, कि डाई मिटाया कुछ, और डिवोर्स का मतलब है कि तुम्हारा वो अपना अपना रास्ता देखते हैं. फिर there is 3 main components the way I see it. One is the legal side. Legal side. Second is the emotional side. Some people don't want to get divorced, but one party wants to get divorced, so it's a forced issue. It's not always mutual. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the way I see it. So there's a legal side, emotional side, and then that is the social side. यानी कि हमारे जो community में लोग एक टाइम रहा कि धब्बा था. There was a stigma कि भाई ये divorce हो गए, ये वो. Nowadays we see people are openly advertising कि I'm divorced and I'm looking for a partner. It's on the internet, so it's not so much of a stigma. There are other aspects, but mostly legal. और जो लोग young people है, मेरा एक after introducing the topic एक comment है कि वो अपने अपने जहन में ये मुकम्मल कर ले कि marriage is a contract. अपने माइंड में, जहन में मतलब है उर्दू में बोलते हैं कि वो समझ ले. इन द एंड व्हेन यू गेटिंग मैरिड, यू साइनिंग अ पीस ऑफ पेपर, एंड लीगल साइड अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कैन बी एंडेड if you sign a contract. So that's one legal side. Economic and social side is there's loss and gain. Some people gain, some people lose money, property.
Some 60%, some 70, some 80, some 90, some
100 even.
And then the social, and then there is the community side where I have noticed that a lot of people lose even their friends stop communicating with them. They lose their friends. आज जंगली मुर्गी संगे खाया, कल divorce हो गया, they don't know you.
See, those are the aspects which is more
social side. So that's my intro to that, and we'll expand on that.
No, I totally agree with you, Doc. The way you said it, and you took it to the जब हम अपने कल्चर को देखते हैं in the beginning ancient times, I don't think there was actually a legal marriage. और जो होता था वो रस्म और रिवाज से होता था and that was taken as the marriage. तो बाद में फिर अभी जैसे हर कंट्री में शायद ये हो गया है कि you have to have a legal marriage. अपना जो मैरिज हम करते हैं साइड में जो कस्टम और कल्चर के तरफ से वो एक है, लेकिन you have to have a legal marriage, otherwise you're not declared married.
अभी क्या होता है ना जी, when in our traditional marriage, actually on the day, actually the bridegroom and the bride actually sign the marriage certificate
on the day.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. कुछ लोग वही रोज करते हैं, कुछ लोग पहले कर लेते हैं. But you have to do it. Most people, I think now the culture is they do it on the night of the marriage.
Marriage, yeah.
और ये अगर ये नहीं हुआ तो you are not declared married. And इसका I think इसका एक बहुत important मकसद है कि when you get married legally जैसे married करते हैं, I think it's to distribute the assets. कि उसके marriage के बाद में अगर divorce हुआ,
मैंने पेपर बना लो ना.
Yeah, well, that's how it is, because अगर कागज पत्र नहीं हुआ, नहीं हुआ, how do you declare you're married, and then how the asset distribution will happen? That doesn't happen if you are not legally married. So जैसे
very important
कोरिया में कानून हो गया है, I think you still, if you're not married, you're living with someone, or if you are living and contributing together, and if you separate, you still are liable.
Same law applies, I think.
Yeah, the same law.
Because क्या होता था de facto जो relationships है that come into play, वो आ जाता है play में, and that becomes a part of an agreement as well कि आप दोनों you are living, although you're not married, but you are still living together as husband and wife.
Yes,
as partners.
So उसमें legality आ जाता है, लेकिन वैसे marriage जो divorce है, जो marriage failure होता है, उसका बहुत ही कारण है, और कुछ ऐसे कारण है जो short term है. कोई marriage जो है वो it only lasts for 1 to 3 years. उसका जो reasons है वो sometimes is very different from the marriages that actually break down in
after 20 years.
After say from 5 to 10 or 15 years.
Yes.
The impact is very different. The outcomes are different as well. जैसे डॉक ने बताया the effects they have and the trauma that people actually go through after the separation. So उसके बारे में हम कुछ बातें करेंगे as we progress from here.
Yeah,
thank you.
बिल्कुल. And I'll give some facts and figures, basically the rights in Australia. I mean how it's affecting basically facts and figures, basically क्या rights हैं यहाँ पर. I mean you'll be surprised with some of the rights I give today, because people probably think it is not that big compared to some other countries, but I mean Australia में देखा जाए तो अगर हम आपको बताएंगे कि क्या divorce rights क्या है compared to people getting married, you'll be surprised.
What did you equate to? What does it equate to?
Over 50%?
No, थोड़ा कम है. It's basically 4 out of 10 marriages actually fail. It's a 40%.
Still pretty high.
Still very high. I mean, it's come down by 3%. अगर previous years ago, I'm telling you figures from Bureau of Stats. That's for 2013. But because क्या होता है, every November में you get the figures from Bureau of Stats for the marriages and basic divorce.
Other data.
So I'm just comparing. I'm giving the data which we received in November for 2013. Basically, उसमें देखा जाए तो 40% rate था divorce का.
Interesting.
Very interesting. और देखा जाए जो उससे पहले वाला वर्ष 2012 में it was 46%. तो देखा जाए तो I mean it's come down little bit, but it's basically four marriages out of 10 end up in divorce. So it's a very high.
This is in Australia.
In Australia.
The highest number, according to my research, the highest number of divorces in Maldives. And you probably would know
Maldives is in the south group of islands south of India.
I can understand why.
Right.
Southwest of India है ना, छोटा group of islands.
Then you've got the USA, you've got the UK, you've got the Australia. Well, a lot of Western countries are out there as well on the chart for. कोई Google कर सकते हैं, and you can.
Why Maldives? इतना छोटा isolated area है.
I mean, I was trying to look at it as well. कि छोटा जगह है, and why so many high rates? But it could be something to do with casting or religion or.
I think so.
They're low, I suppose. I don't know. कि flick किया finger, sign किया paper और निकला फेंका और चला गया. Maybe they don't have anything to lose. Like in Australia, we've got a lot of things to lose. घर द्वार बच्चे हैं और गाड़ी इत्यादि है, सब कुछ separate. As to how I see divorce की मतलब separate. You find your own way, I found my own way. तो उसका pros and cons we'll discuss basically.
Can I quickly throw a dart in, sir? Quick one, just on your point, because I might lose that mind of thought. There is another question which we may not be able to answer. Can you stay friends after the divorce?
I have seen people.
That's another subject we can
sure,
talk about,
sure.
and to what extent we do go our own ways, but there's always कितना acrid होता है, कितना acid test होता है उसमें. That is another point.
So we can actually cover that while we're talking on the social effects of divorce. I mean, we can touch
I
base on
just
that.
quickly throw a dart in from outside the box.
It's a very good topic because उसमें I wanted to add something which I thought we'll talk later on. कि some people actually live within the same house or within the same home, and they live as friends. They don't divorce, but they live as friends.
I suppose it's a very hard thing to do, but as to you, how you see divorce, a lot of people are bitter.
Very
जब
bitter.
divorce की बात होती है, a lot of court cases, and if you're single, there's no kids involved, I suppose it's much cheaper, it's much simpler. You go your own way, you got nothing to share. But if you got kids, you got something always linked together to share in the whole life. ना क्योंकि बच्चे हैं, and there's custody battles होता है, and
Financial
अगर बच्चे
burden.
नहीं है तो then you got a financial burden. Sorry, बच्चे नहीं है तो you got the property settlement होता है कि आपको कितना लेनी है, मुझे कितना ले जाना है, उसमें बहुत सारे झगड़े होते हैं.
And then you got to pay maintenance till 18.
Yeah,
Alimony
correct.
बोलते हैं अमेरिका में.
And to some extent, there's always losses and losses and losses. And psychology में से देख say there's no win-win situation. And किस तरह से win-win situation कर सकते हैं? Maybe हम उस पे कुछ पर्दा डाल सकते हैं आज. And hopefully we could help those people. I have been through it once, and I know exactly what it is. I don't know about you guys, but from experience, there's some good and bad. But the most important thing is I've learned something from him. कुछ सीखा है मैंने कि ये शब्द जो है डिवोर्स, उससे क्या होता है. It probably makes you a better person, it probably makes you a bad person, but I think I've actually learned a lot and achieved a lot out of it as well. Not to be sure in next life, या तो next बार या अगली बार आप करेंगे वो साइन करेंगे तो क्या है क्या नहीं है. Life doesn't have any क्या बोलते हैं उसके.
There is a way out. I think I tuned to your brainwave there. We will talk about a couple of ways that I think we can make the loss more balanced.
And I often see even in chat rooms when you go, you hear a lot of bitterness, and I think it is. Bitterness is good, but look, that's life. You cannot control the other person, I suppose. We'll come and talk about that in depth. And those who are in chat room, please do comment and give us some information and share your experiences.
Feedback, please.
There are sad people out there, and आपको said is depression builds in, and a lot of other things comes into that. So we'll talk about it as well. तुम नजर से भुला ना सकोगे. आगे शब्द क्या है मुझे मालूम नहीं. But a wonderful song penned by Mehdi Hassan.
Original was Mehdi
Good,
Hassan.
nice rendering there by this.
Goes with the subject. I suppose we were talking about divorce, and इसीलिए मैंने वो गाना choose किया था. तो we are talking about divorce. तो जैसे कि हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं कि why pros and cons of divorce. The pros. Let's start with the pros, guys. We'll go around the table and we'll see इसमें pros क्या है.
Pros मतलब advantage.
Advantage divorce.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
अच्छा, इसके लिए मैं एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ, एक नमूना. हमारा जो रशियन प्राइम मिनिस्टर व्लादिमीर पुतिन, he got divorced.
कैसे नाम बोलो?
Vladimir
Putin, one of the most elite leaders in the world at the moment. He got divorced last year, I think, and there was a rumor that he was involved with one of the Olympic medalists, Russian. But it's now confirmed, and they are friends. They have 2 daughters, I think, and husband and wife saying that they still get on. They have different lives. They were not living with each other often. ये तो अपना global चक्कर being a politician. So I think अपना जो job है वो भी कभी-कभी थोड़ा risk factor रहता है कि what do you actually do for a living. That can impact on a relationship, and sometimes it might be better that if it is an amicable arrangement कि भाई we're not getting on, we are emotionally growing apart, maybe 15-20 years later when you get married, maybe you are in love. यहाँ पर शायद arranged marriages might last longer than others. We have to do some stats there my colleagues, which ones last longer, arranged or love marriages. So I think they have not that many advantages, love, but emotionally maybe if there's tension, some relationships you can see couples तवीनी के जो जंगली मुर्गा रकम लड़ते रहते हैं ना, पैक करते हैं, भिड़ते रहते हैं, and it's bad for the children, it's bad for the family, and obviously the relationship has become sour, and sometimes it lasts for years and it damages both the parties. So the only advantage I can see is if it is damaging the relationship, and then that filters down to the children. So sometimes I think it's better if there's counseling and they say, look, we're just not compatible. Some couples are not compatible. It may be based on religion, culture, beliefs, job, money, contribution. You know, one person might be milking off the other and makes them really upset ki bhai, you are also earning money, why are you sponging off me only? So these are all little things which all build up into a big snowball. Lots of factors, but I think the only advantage I see emotionally, there may be others that आप लोग बोलेंगे कि if there is so much negative pole, like poles don't meet na, then sometimes it's probably better if there is a split so they can live healthier emotional and mental lives.
Let's
you have to mitigate the damage with where your property comes in, kids, relationships na. But in the end, I think that in this sort of situation, it might be better for both people.
Let's change this a little bit around, but what we go is, let's go and see what are the causes of this, and then we'll try and say what are the causes of these things and what we can do to fix it, and then we go and see kya labh hai and kya hani ho sakta hai, especially like the social issues.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, we go a little bit, change a little bit around so that.
Sure. Well, मेरा ख्याल है कि जो डिवोर्स होता है उसका बहुत ही रीजंस होता है, और रीजंस ऐसे होता है जैसे हम देखते हैं कि अर्ली स्टेजेस में अगर डिवोर्स होता है मेनली, तो जब पहले समय सम पीपल ऐसे एक पार्टनर होता है, he feels or she feels there is no compatibility. They think they are better off than the other person. Sometimes before marriage people don't realize that. As soon as it's marriage, they feel that they are not compatible and they look for a compatible partner. And what happens is then they try to neglect the other partner, or they say to them, look, I don't think you are good enough for me. It becomes a problem. It's a thing that बहुत हाली से pick कर लेते हैं people, and they think nah, this person is not right for me. It can be influence of career. It could be influence of the education you have, कितना level के people किसी ने पढ़ा है, और ये सब चीज़ I think is important to discuss well before the marriage. और जैसे हम देखते हैं कि the other thing is important thing है, people marriage में they feel very constrained. जैसे when people live with before marriage as boyfriends or girlfriends, or they haven't met, so we have the freedom to do anything we want. We can go and do whatever, like we can travel anywhere you want to go. You have no restrictions. You don't have to actually report to someone. So a constraint, as soon as marriage comes in, you are reportable to someone. You have to discuss things with someone, and a lot of people find this freedom very suffocating. They think their freedom has been jeopardized, and they don't want to compromise. So इससे क्या होता है, this again happens very quickly in the marriage. Within 1 to 3 years, अगर this is a factor, one of the factors, the marriage will actually try to they'll try to separate within 3 years or 2 years. और इसमें क्या होता है कि people want to move and do some things, तो इसमें compromise आ जाता है. You really have to compromise. और दूसरा factor हम देखते हैं जिससे the can be a clash between cultures. Marriages may, when two people have different belief systems, it can be a big issue, because issue ऐसे हो सकता है कि I can be very dominant with my culture, my my the state is the way I come from, my religion, whereas the other person can get into their influencing their religion as well, or their culture. So उसमें भी clash होता है. Sometimes people who are very dominant can overtake the other one, but कभी-कभी वैसे तो क्लैश हो जाता है तो क्लैश में क्या होता है फिर you know things can break up very quickly because we all be pulling each other and that will add to all other things that fill up together with other little things, you know. Then comes the respect as well, because if you have problems with this sort of things then the respect is on the line as well. Respect ऐसे आ जाता है कि then whatever you say I don't care about it and you can say whatever that the other person wouldn't care about it. So these are some short term you know things that can happen. There are some other issues that can be money, which we can discuss later on. I'll probably listen to you Paramjit and then we can continue.
Your turn, sir.
I think जो मुद्दा है divorce, and we should stick to the divorce and say, look, let's talk about divorce purely because marriage does influence divorce to some extent. There's factors involved there. So I think the program is not अभी हम लोगों का क्या हो जाएगा, there's so many factors, such a vast topic for us to input some information. But I think purely अगर if we stray to the सही मार्ग पे रहे कि वो divorce, the pros and the cons and the benefits and the not so benefits and why. So I think it will probably come up with another topic later and give more decisions and more ideas and more thoughts into that. Sure. But purely as far as divorce is concerned, there's a pro and a con. Why divorces happen, and usme you know there's optimum amount of reasons we will not discuss.
No, so you can't put a finger on one thing.
Usme pros ye hota hai ki those who are benefiting, for example, money matters. You know, those some of them benefit more. If there's a kid, automatically the pros are that the kids, the mum gets the advantage because that's the advantage.
यहाँ का family law भी वैसा है, skewed towards the female.
दूसरे देश में क्या है? I don't know, America, Canada, States. I mean, if somebody is actually watching us, you could actually give us an input. So our pros over here is it's very woman के side.
Weighted on the side of the
is
female.
Automatically granted the custody. So that's a pro for the mother, con for the father. And similarly, अगर बच्चे हैं तो if you've got a money separation issue, then the government says कि बच्चा है तो ज़्यादा पैसा उधर जाना चाहिए. So again, once again, pro is woman की ओर से जाता है. अगर एक बच्चा है, दो बच्ची है, whatever. और con is male. And उसमें दूसरा con ये आता है, then becomes your issues of personal issues की fighting शुरू हो जाती है. They start fighting each other. Then वो कहती है कि you go to court. बच्चे के देखने लिए कस्टडी का सवाल पैदा होता है. So those are the cons of being divorced, and this is what I think is purely important before we can last sum it up by saying should we take that extra step or no.
I think it's better if it is sorted out under mediation, because if you go to a court you're looking at losing more money on both parties.
No win-win situation.
क्या बोलते हैं adversarial system कि हुआ एक चीज का फिर वो अकाउंट करते हैं ना, बाटी लगता है ऐसे. तो that becomes more acrimonious, people become more angry and enmity. So that is one way of, I think, moving around it in a more cordial way.
Because I mean, I've actually been through a couple of these things, and actually I was pretty much I mean, I know a couple of people actually been through these, right? Recently, I'm talking about more recently, a month or two ago. I mean, people actually are in the process of getting divorced and kids custodies. Abhi kya ho gaya? In olden days, used to, I mean, if one party didn't agree, the other party files in the divorce. I mean, it quickly goes through. Abhi kya ho gaya hai? There is mediation. You cannot lodge an application without mediation. Mediation ke dwara, they'll give you a certificate saying they actually tried to.
Before you get divorce?
Yes, now it is the mediation.
Kab se aayi?
It's very recent because
few years actually.
Yeah, it is very now. अगर आप divorce papers lodge करते हैं, even through solicitors आप जाते हैं, the first thing you have to have
certification
that you attend mediation.
Mediation is sometimes a vain attempt to get the parties together. Sometimes because the die is cast, you know. By the time you get to this stage, I think it's already too late.
Too late, true.
You know, you should be mediating under the house, under the roof in your own angana, not in the padosi ke angana. And then once you come to the mediation, I think mediation is the stage where you're really saying, "Acha, we are getting about who's going to own what."
Yeah. So tell me, guys, what are the benefits? Let's say, what are the benefits of being divorced or to divorce each other? What are the benefits?
Well, I think one of the benefit is that because जब आप वो environment में रहते हो, it really affects your life. ना? The two people who are going through a lot of trauma, कभी ज़िंदगी में ये important हो जाता है कि you know you go your own way और से एक समझौता कर ले. समझौता is something, समझौता का मीनिंग बहुत लोग नहीं जानते हैं.
Say for example आपने वो शब्द जब उठाया समझौता is in an arranged marriage for example, हाँ ये होता है समझौता, and that last people are saying कि research has shown कि that last long.
Well देखिए ऐसे बात है, कोई भी मैरिज होता है या वो अरेंज्ड है वो या लव मैरिज है, जब वो ब्रेक होती है देयर आर लॉट ऑफ इफेक्ट्स दैट हैपन, पीपल आर रियली ट्रॉमेटाइज्ड और उसका जो इफेक्ट होता है और जो होता है वो यू नो वी टेक इट ऑन ईच अदर. सो द इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग व्हाई आई सेड द वर्ड कॉम्प्रोमाइज, कॉम्प्रोमाइज का हिंदी में उसका मतलब है समझौता. बहुत लोग समझौता का मतलब नहीं जानते हैं. I'll tell you what समझौता है. जैसे आज सवेरे जब मैं प्रोग्राम किया था, I said something about looking to the universe to find answers. समझौता ये है जैसे अब जब सवेर होता है सूरज निकलता है, शाम को जब सूरज डूबता है और अंधेरा आता है तो there's a transition. वो सूरज कैसे डूब जाता है और वो अंधियार जो है डार्कनेस कैसे डे को ले लेता है. इट्स अ वेरी फाइन कॉम्प्रोमाइज without any quarrel, without any fight, without anything. That's actually what समझौता is. So if we do understand through nature समझौता, इसी तरह से अगर हमें समझौता करना है अपने आप से या मैरिज फेलियर है या मैरिज रखना है बचाना है, दैट समझौता इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, दैट कॉम्प्रोमाइज. अगर हमें सेपरेट होना है वी शुड सेपरेट इन गुड टर्म्स. जैसे आपने बोला है कि जब सेपरेशन होता है इज़ वेरी वेरी बिटर और इसमें वी ऑल हैव इमोशंस. जो लेडी होती है घर की जो फीमेल शी सफर्स, we suffer, the male suffer, the kids suffer if there is a kid involved. A trauma जो है वो बहुत दिन तक आपके साथ में रहता है. And then the other things that you said, अगर kid होता है तो then there is a link. So you cannot actually get out of it.
Lifelong.
So उसमें अगर bitterness है then that bitterness will go all together with everything you do. जितना चीज़ आप करेंगे साथ साथ में, जैसे for example आप बच्चे को देखना चाहते हैं और आपकी बीवी है वो बच्चे को नहीं देखना चाहती है. शी हैज टेकन योर बच्चा somewhere else, your kid somewhere else. You go through the court system, then you have to prepare all the paperwork, the tension, the stress that goes. So इसमें both people are affected और that trauma lasts for years and it affects your job, it affects your family life, it affects you personally, you are under stress. So I think suffer बहुत होते हैं but एक रकम से देखा जाए कभी कभी the woman suffers a lot, कभी कभी the man suffers a lot.
Of course
there is advantage to the women if I may say. हम male dominated society में often we look at things from a male perspective. Can I just look at it from the female's perspective?
Sure.
जो लाभ जो benefit होता है, a lot of ladies are actually traumatized mentally or physically. They're abused, alcohol, gambling, all these things come in, and sometimes the children and the female उसका लाभ होता है. They actually get into a safe house situation because they are in a literally abusive situation. और abuse mentally हो सकता है, physical, financial, कि एक one spouse or partner is earning, the other one is spending as if there's no tomorrow, either gambling or drinking or spending too much money, buying a sitar every week or something like that. So you know there's a control. So I think from a female's viewpoint, for them it is labdaik, and for the children because they might be in a really traumatic and abusive and harmful situation which will impact on the children. And it has been found that children who grow up in an abusive society house will themselves become abusive when they're adults.
And the other
It's
thing they have found that people, the kids who are actually growing in this environment, they will, if they're married, they will tend to divorce as well. And the other thing I wanted to mention, the counseling. There's a research done on the counseling as well. The counseling really doesn't really work.
Yeah.
And the reason you said is right, because by the time everything has happened and the bitterness that comes in, by the time counseling comes in, you've already made a decision and you want to move on. And it's the later stage of the life that you want to do this, and that compromise is never there because the bitterness has come in.
Sometimes, Naji, I'll just touch base on that. क्या होता है कि sometimes on mediation and counseling, actually people do go before the process. Basically, होता है ऐसा. I mean, people when they as soon as they found out कि there is tensions, there is problems in their family, friction होने लगा है. Some ladies or some men are quite intelligent. Basically, they actually go out of the way because they want to protect the marriage. They actually go before. Not after the process, like when they actually reach the process of divorce, they actually go in for basically mediation or counseling.
There's a big business, marriage counseling.
So some people do that, and even then, it doesn't help.
You're right, because divorce, the problem comes. It's not like divorce is not a bubble that just overnight it just grows and bursts. It's there are symptoms that happens during a period of a year or two. Before, and the symptoms you can see it. That's what I'm saying. Ki important hai, if you have seen symptoms, you should do something. Just say, you go and consult a third person or the counselor or someone and seek help. Because जब लोग शादी करते हैं तो नया a lot of things that you are learning, you don't actually know. तो उसका impact जो होता है फिर बाद में, then after years of movement you go like, oh yeah, there are certain things you didn't know when you were young. और उसका जो असर already हो जाता है, it's too late. Now you have lost so many things, you have lost so many years, and that will affect you in the future. That will affect the kid, as you said, Doc, the environment they're growing, and the
let's
wife.
talk about let's थोड़ा सा हटते हैं हम. Let's talk a little about current world or current causes of divorce. ठीक है?
Yeah.
Current causes of divorce. From my side, I think personally there's a few factors. Money जैसे आपने कहा. एंड ईगो प्रॉब्लम होता है, जॉब कमिंग इन, जॉब हम ज्यादा पैसे कमा रहे, ये प्रॉब्लम है. रिलीजन इज अ प्रॉब्लम ऑब्वियसली, बट आई थिंक इन टुडेज ईरा आई डोंट थिंक रिलीजन इज
quite tolerant society we live in.
तो रिलीजन इज नॉट एन इशू मच देयर. आई थिंक फाइनेंशियली देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम. Secondly, if you're living with each other from one country or the other country and kids are involved, distance. So I think these are the major factors in current issue of divorces at the moment. 2015 as we are standing.
And one quick one there, I think we are past that, but in young sort of teenagers or early 20s and 30s, love is a very central part of this whole cycle.
जिसे किसी ने फरमाया कि spark, तो किसी ने फरमाया, दूसरे ने फरमाया spark change कर दो, spark plug.
नहीं, the spark plug change. I mean, people say कि oh, I don't love this person, I'm in love with somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, what is love? इसीलिए हमारे सनातन धर्म में बोले love नहीं करो, प्रेम करो.
प्रेम करो.
Yeah.
प्रेम नाम है मेरा.
Because that's what I think. Over time, the emotion dies off. There's no spark, जिसे किसी ने कहा, and that's very true. The important thing is how you maintain that spark. It's very important. और जैसे आपने परम कहा, money is a problem, but other factors can be like जैसे affairs हो जाता है, infidelity ना, or people after a while when they this happens usually in between 5 to 10 years of marriage. Usually that's when the spark goes off and people start to look. As people have emotional affairs as well, where they're not actually involved directly to a person, but
Intimately
they go through internet or media platforms where they actually love to talk to other people, because जैसे हम कहते हैं communication
same plane पे होता है. Maybe they understand each other more than the partner.
जैसे communication is a big problem. जैसे communication हम बोलते हैं ना, हम बात तो करते हैं, लेकिन बात क्या करते हैं, that it's communication. ऐसे नहीं कि constructive communication is very important. Otherwise वो लोग जो होते हैं जो communicate नहीं करते हैं, you then go and find another person who wants to listen to you, and you share those things with other people who are actually listening to you and want to listen to you. So important thing is खाली एक कान से नहीं सुने, कान से निकाल दे, लेकिन you sit down with your partner constructively, you listen to their thoughts and whatever they have to say about your marriage.
उसको प्लूटोनिक फ्रेंड्स बोलते हैं शायद. प्लूटोनिक की there's no emotional or intimacy, but your mental. अभिमान मूवी बहुत अच्छा था भाइयों. तो showing up जो मुद्दा उठाया कि घमंड या one person is more famous or getting more kudos in the community for whatever reason, whether they're doing work or entertainment or community work, and the other partner then says oh ये तो मुझसे आगे बढ़ने लगा है. तो that old movie Big B का movie अभिमान अच्छा था. और वो आपका जो मुद्दा उठाया था समझौता, किशोर दा का गाना मैं अपने सभी व्यूअर्स को बता दे, वो जो बोलते हैं समझौता गामों से कर लो. इट्स वेरी नाइस सॉन्ग, the wording of it. So
you mean to say लो किसी लगाना सुनने का?
No, it's a very meaningful song.
Yeah, देखा जाए, I mean, I'll put some, I'll draw some lights as well on this thing. Like Param says, one of the causes right now. Now, one of the causes is family issues as well. Comes in, family pressure as well into these things, like your in-laws and your parents. I mean, they actually fall in this category as well, because there is a factor as well affecting.
You mean innocent victims?
Yeah, bilkul. Because what happens is there's a lot of outside pressure, friends, families as well, and that causes a lot of stresses on the marriage as well.
Yeah, जैसे एडिक्शन होता है एक ना, एडिक्शन इज अ वेरी बिग प्रॉब्लम. जैसे if someone is addicted to gambling for example, the time spent in gambling, जो बाहर एक व्यक्ति जाता है, usually this is a male problem, कभी फीमेल भी होता है, and I'm not taking sides, but
I think percentage is quite low.
percentage, yeah.
There are,
तो
but it's low.
वो अल्कोहल का सहारा लेते हैं बहुत लोग ना, तो they go and spend a lot of time in the clubs. वो एक आदत बन जाता है और इन्फ्लुएंस उसके हो जाता है फ्रेंड्स.
They'll find friends who will also want to do
exactly.
the same and together.
Or wrong influence. What happens is you don't spend much time with your partner, and that will intensify with time, because if you're into gambling or into alcohol, deemed to you will actually take and become addicted to it. That will affect the relationship. And जैसे जीत आपने बताया है कि the in-laws thing is very important thing, because उसमें क्या हो जाता है, usually the problem is your wife, the women who actually suffer, and then your parents are there as well. So extended families में जैसे जितने viewers हमारे सुन रहे हैं जो extended families में रहते हैं, जो घर के एक बहू है, ये बहुत important है कि how you relate to your in-laws.
दामाद भी, not only
Oh yeah, दामाद as well.
Goes both ways. Yeah.
I think it more affects the ladies here, because they are the ones.
सास बहू का
जो
relationship होता है ना.
Usually जो सास ससुर जो male का होता है, usually male do respect them, कभी-कभी नहीं करते, but they are not always in touch ना. लेकिन यहाँ पर बहू और जो सास है वो साथ में रहते हैं, तो जो एक बहू है उसका important चीज ये है जानना कि you have to sacrifice sometimes your happiness and think what others would prefer in the house, how you can make other people happy in the house. Put your emotions, your things away, and when you actually give, people will give back. पर ऐसे भी नहीं है कि it's the fault of the bride जो आती है घर में ना. कभी-कभी जो सास होते हैं उनका कर्तव्य ये होता है कि you make sure कि जैसे वो आपकी लड़की है, वो आपकी बेटी है, you have to treat
a friend.
As soon as जो पत्तो है घर के, वो अगर सोचती है कि मुझे आप अपने लड़की की तरह नहीं ट्रीट करते हो, it becomes a problem. And that comes the jealousy, and then the problem becomes between husband and the wife. तो husband becomes a victim here, because वो सोचता है कि मैरिज को बचाने के लिए he will favor the wife, और फिर उनके जो माता पिता है उनको साथ में वो बड़ा हुआ है, especially when it's problem because when you are only son, and the parents have a lot of expectations from you. तो क्या होता है, कुछ लड़के ऐसे होते हैं, they neglect their parents, they move and they move on with your wife. मैंने बोलना चाहता हूँ क्या सही है क्या नहीं, बट इसमें क्या होता है कि दो पेरेंट्स है वो दे आर रियली अफेक्टेड, बिकॉज फिर जो दोस्त के बेटा है उससे बात करना छोड़ देता है, उसके घर आने का छोड़ता है, एंड दे आर एक्चुअली इमोशनली ड्रेन्ड, बिकॉज वो अगोरते हैं कि कब हमारा बच्चा घर आएगा, कब हमसे बात करेगा, एंड दे एक्चुअली दे नीड दैट, एंड वो फिर डिप्रेस होते हैं, वो रोते हैं, वो गाते हैं, दूसरों सब कहानी बताते हैं, और फिर एक लड़का है वो ही इज ट्राइंग टू बैलेंस द मैरिज एंड द फैमिली, एंड इट बिकम्स वेरी हार्ड. कोई के बच्चे ऐसे होते हैं ना, my parents are more. But I think the male role is here is you have to be actually transparent and neutral, rather than favoring your parents or favoring your wife. You should be a neutral individual where you should see what the problem is, and casually बैठकर ऐसे जगह पर ऐसे एनवायरनमेंट में समझाए. कभी कभी इट बिकम्स अ बिग इशू, और देन मैरिज बिकम्स वेरी, बिकॉज अब आप अपने माता पिता के घर में शायद नहीं है, बाहर भी है, व्हेन यू इवन वांट टू गो टू द हाउस, योर वाइफ विल ऑलवेज ऑब्जेक्ट, देन व्हाट यू डू.
किसी ने हमारे चैट रूम में ये कहा है कि पहले से सास के दिल जीत लो, प्रॉब्लम खलास. दैट इज क्वाइट ट्रू.
आई थिंक इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सास का जो एंड देयर इज अ वे टू डू इट.
बिल्कुल.
बट ऐसे हो जाता है, ईगो आ जाता है ना, देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ ईगो,
साइकोलॉजी, ईगो एंड साइकोलॉजी. और हमारे जो हिंदुस्तानी धर्म में है वो बताते हैं कि बेटी पराई होती है, अपने घर द्वार छोड़कर, सो शी इज एट अ डिसएडवांटेज. शी इज गोइंग टू अ न्यू होम, एंड लड़की को हम बोलते हैं लक्ष्मी माना जाता है, दे मैनेज द हाउस, एंड दे हैव टू बी ट्रीटेड लाइक दैट ना. इफ देयर इज अदर चिल्ड्रन और डॉटर्स इन द सेम हाउस, और उसको इज आप क्वाइट राइटली सेइंग कि दे डोंट गेट द इक्वल फेयर ट्रीटमेंट. वो छोटे छोटे चीज़ के बात होते हैं ना, कहीं शादी हुआ तो उसको ज्वेलरी वगैरह खरीदना है, और आदमी को बताता है कि भाई पैसा मत खर्चा करो, एंड दैट दे स्पेंड द मनी ऑन द अदर डॉटर्स, एंड सब सज के जाते हैं. छोटे छोटे बातें कि वो बहू के देखो तो बेचारी सिंपल प्लेन से ऐसे ना. So it's not always a personal choice. So attention to the emotion and the well-being is very important. Especially नवेली जो दुल्हन आती है ना, they're not there. Whereas वेस्टर्न कल्चर में, क्रिश्चियन कल्चर में इज द अदर वे अराउंड. वो बोलते हैं कि वंस द वुमन लीव्स द हाउस शी इज कंप्लीटली कट ऑफ हो जाती है. इट्स अ प्रेरोगेटिव ऑफ द हस्बैंड एंड द हस्बैंड्स फैमिली टू अलाउ हर टू गो बैक. बहुत टू डिफरेंट फील्ड्स होते हैं ना. सो और हमारे जो इस्लाम मुस्लिम जो कल्चर धर्म है उसमें भी इट्स नॉट लाइक अ हिंदू रिलीजन वेयर वी हैव सॉर्ट ऑफ एन एक्सटेंडेड लिंक इवन आफ्टर मैरिज. इवन इफ यू डोंट स्टे इन द सेम हाउस, यू नो, बहुत क्लोज लिंक होता है ना. वेस्टर्न सोसाइटी में है क्लियरली स्टेट करते हैं कि यू आर हस्बैंड एंड वाइफ एंड काफ़ी नाता तोड़ देते हैं. इमोशनल नहीं लेकिन द फिजिकल एवरीडे. तो इसमें कल्चर बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है ना. अभी हमारे फैमिली में काफ़ी क्रॉस कल्चरल मैरिजेस हो रहे हैं. तो दैट्स अनदर फैक्टर.
अगर देखा जाए तो यू नो व्हाट आई मीन द लेडीज और हमारे जो वाइफ व्हाट दे शुड डू इज बेसिकली इन द सास व्हाट दे शुड सी इज द मदर, बेसिकली हर ओन मदर, and vice versa for the sas, basically to see bahu mein kya dekhna chahiye. It's a own daughter basically, and there should be a good bond, a friendship that will solve most of these issues.
थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम है भैया वहाँ पे वही क्रॉस कल्चरल. मान लो एक बहू आई सास से एंड शी स्मोक्स एंड ड्रिंक्स. Not that I have anything against it. और एक अच्छा हिंदुस्तानी घर में आप देंगे.
And I'll say, look, there is a topic coming between saas and bahu.
Right.
And जितना भी अगर हम कोशिश करें, we coming back to the topic of saas and bahu, and we also coming back to the shadi marriage. So these are different topics that I would like to have it on the board here as a separate subject. But let's stick to the main point, which is हमारा सही मार्ग ये है कि divorce करना चाहिए, नहीं करना चाहिए divorce, और क्यों होता है divorce. Let's discuss on that because I think it's a very big subject, and chat room में भी काफी लोग बोल रहे हैं कि it's a very big subject, and people are also commenting dramatically because you know किसी की जिंदगी में कुछ ना कुछ होता है, and there's always losses.
Right.
So let's pick up a few points and let's try to touch on the few
कुछ
points.
divorces political होते हैं. Sometimes people divorce because they might stay as friends. Famous people. I mean, if you look at Princess Di and Prince Charles, if you look at religion, जैसे कि हमारे जो बहुत भारी लड़ाई चल रहा था between Roman Catholic and Protestant churches, वो divorce के कारण हुआ था कि धर्म बट गया. That's how the Anglican Church started. So this is just a few points I'm saying कि जो कारण है, it can be personal, emotional between the two people, other people का जो influence है, और you know, in the end it is the choice between the two people.
डिवोर्स में इम्पोर्टेंट क्या है? मूविंग ऑन इज़ वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट. इट ऐसे नहीं कि इट्स द वाइफ और द हस्बैंड, बट बोथ हैव टू. आई थिंक द बिगेस्ट हीलर ऑफ एनी डिवोर्स इज टाइम. यू हैव टू गिव टाइम for anything, for solutions even. अगर ज़िंदगी में आपने समय को वक्त को wait करा, there will be solutions, but you shouldn't react very quickly. बहुत जल्द से ऐसे कोई actions ना ले ले ताकि वो आपका life को destroy करे, और the other partner का life destroy करे, और या बच्चों का life destroy करे. Because a lot of times you seek answers and you don't have answers, and the society doesn't have answers, your friends don't have answers, you feel very lonely about it. लेकिन कभी कभी कोई पर्सन आपसे एडवांटेज लेता है. जैसे आप अभी मैरिज में अगर हो और ये डिवोर्स आपका हो रहा है, or you're actually thinking of divorcing someone, or you have gone through this process, the most important thing is never actually have that remorse towards the other person, because if you do that, or it will affect your life more than the other person. No matter what happens, you should always think good about the other person, कि that person should go and flourish in life, or person उसकी ज़िंदगी में जो भी कुछ अच्छा हो, always pray for that person. Then what will happen? Your life will start to change, and you will see a transition, that good things will come your way, you have progressed in life. And if the other person is resilient, they will always get affected. So this is something that's very important, that divorce agar hua hai, how you actually manage your divorce, what stance you're going to take, what actions you're going to take, that's the most important thing after the divorce. Otherwise you'll always बहुत लोग ऐसे हैं वो जो divorce होता है उसको लेकर बैठे रहते हैं for 10 years, और बैठे रहते हैं, they don't do anything. वो वही सोचते हैं कि you know क्यों ऐसे हुआ, क्या हुआ, but you gotta stand up and do something about it. Only you can do it. आपका ये कर्तव्य है. अगर आपके पास एक child है, you should always have that right to see your child. और ये important है child के लिए, आपके लिए भी, कि वो आपको जाने, और have time for them as well. और अपना ज़िंदगी जो उसको वहाँ से progress कीजिए, but always give that allowance for other person to actually progress. अगर आपको help भी करना है, I think you should go and even help if there is help needed on the other side. ऐसे नहीं कि you have divorced so you can't help, you can't communicate with that person. बहुत लोग साथ में रहते हैं, बहुत लोग अलग रहते हैं, but they still communicate because of the child. But that relationship has to be good one, because otherwise the kids still get affected with them. So important है how you actually carry on from there.
Okay guys, हमारे पास 1 घंटे का और समय है इस प्रोग्राम पेश करने के लिए, and by the end of the hour, I mean, I would like to request आप तीनों से कि we should be able to convince people कि why they shouldn't divorce, or
Should not.
they should divorce or should not divorce, and lightly we should touch up and see what are the causes, light touches of current world issues क्या है. We won't go to in depth of the issues, but issues क्या है, एक ही issues पे हम discuss नहीं करेंगे, but we'll raise some points form, and then we'll finish off the show with to convince people, those who are trying to, or those who are in this current situation. So currently we have about approximately 50 minutes, so let's stick to that, and I'll come. The song which I will going to play next is going to be a wonderful song, because this is something what happens, आप प्यार में हो या तो फिर divorce obviously happens, and these are the type of songs you probably would listen. Yes.
One of the sad songs. Interesting, मैंने इसमें अपना पंडित सुमन जी से तबला ठेका
फिर तुम डावे ठाई गया
कहरवा ठेका था while we warming up, तो जो ठेका था कहरवा का ना,
to mention कि ना तबला के बीट
कहरवा और लंबा टॉपिक
8 बीट वो बाद में करेंगे, बट वो जो सिस्टम है इट्स बेसिक. तो anyway, coming back to divorce, the causes ना,
हाँ
बिल्कुल.
Let's stick to the topic.
Yeah.
And the topic today आज हम बातें कर रहे हैं डिवोर्स के बारे में. डिवोर्स क्यों होता है, होना चाहिए नहीं. We'll probably try to convince you कि करना चाहिए नहीं at the end of the show. But come on guys, let's get
final analysis, black and white करते, because हम लोग इधर उधर जाते रहेंगे ना.
Yes.
Divorce happens because at one time two people were close, they may have been in love or working together.
Let's throw in some points.
Yeah.
Points.
They don't like each other, बस.
Okay. आपका
ये टीम को नहीं लाइक करते, वो टीम के बदल
give us
गया.
a-
Money is the issue, time is the issue.
That was yours.
Outside influence, I'll go to like social media is one of the influence, right? जिसमें देखा जाए Facebook वगैरह आ गए हैं, TV programs, and family issues is one of the things.
Well, gambling is an issue. Affair is an issue. रात भर बैठ के नोना पियो दूसरे फ्रेंड लोगों के संग is probably an issue.
3 in the morning.
And not spending much time
Regularly.
at home, playing a lot of football, for example, living in any other country for
Showbiz.
sports or for
Showbiz.
work reasons. Huh?
Showbiz.
Showbiz is very, 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 very dangerous.
Very
जिस
dangerous.
biz में हम हैं,
We are
वो
all in
बहुत
showbiz.
dangerous.
Very dangerous.
And if you're a star, for example, a movie star, so आपका जो time हो limited
Entertainment.
at home, so because you're signing contracts everywhere, trying to make money. So everything, these are some of the points that actually can lead to divorce.
Say spending more time with the career. A lot of people are motivated towards career,
Yeah.
or there's no respect, mutual respect between people. Communication is out.
So once these things happen, कुछ ना कुछ एक ना एक
बहाना बन जाता.
कड़ी मिलनी चाहिए लोगों को बहाना करनी, and that actually spends and expense, and of course let's
Right.
go and divorce, घर वगैरह सब बेचो बाचो, अपन जाओ, हम अपन तुम अपन, and then the kids suffer if you have kids.
बिल्कुल.
Sadly अपन नहीं होता है. You're bound for the rest of your life. नोजी ने टच किया था, आपने बोला when there's children, alimony, maintenance, बच्चों की शादी होगा, मर्गी होती है, grandchildren होते हैं, so you're still connected, but we'll stay in the topic. So basically you are splitting, the two people don't like each other for the reasons, aforementioned reasons कि आपने बताया ये सब कारण होते हैं, and it's an incompatible situation. There's no compromise and think look, ये सब छोड़ो नहीं तो मैं चला या चली.
Okay, like that. Those are the issues that we all have probably been through or probably are going through. अगर इस हद से आप गुजर रहे हैं तो maybe perhaps this will help you towards the end of the program. Now, not a little suggestion, but मेरे तरफ से कुछ शब्द मैं कहना चाहता हूँ इस divorce के बारे में, कि if you are in the pipeline of being divorced because of all the extra amount of reasons which you've given, take some time back and think about it in a sense कि have a cool out time, यानी कि cool down time.
Step back.
हर बॉक्सिंग मैच में कूल डाउन था, तो सॉकर में ब्रेक डाउन होता है, एंड एवरी प्रोग्राम हैज अ ब्रेक पीरियड. ठीक है ना, लाइक देयर इज अ ब्रेक पीरियड इन योर लाइफ. टेक अ ब्रेक. take a chill, जिसे बोलते हैं ना, take a break. And I think it is very important because once you take a break, you go and analyze the situation. Lunch हम क्यों करते हैं? It's a break for us to sit and have lunch and enjoy our time from work. Otherwise, you'll be constantly making mistakes at work. डॉक्टर दांत उखाड़ रहे हैं, अगर 8 घंटा दांत उखाड़ेंगे तो फिर क्या होगा? फिर
You took the words out of my mouth. कभी-कभी जो बड़ा operations होते हैं theatre में, teams होते हैं.
Yes.
The surgeons actually take a break.
Yes.
कि the operation है, patient is under anesthetic. They will actually take and reconnoiter and discuss करते हैं. Major surgery, heart, brain surgery. They have a little break. Very important.
So, any thoughts on that, guys?
देखा जाए हमेशा लोग ये भी करते हैं ना कि they actually go away for a holiday. Basically कहते हैं ना, let's go chill out, get for a holiday.
Another thought I was thinking. That's how one way of taking a break.
Taking a break, because you go away and or send your wife away, just go and relax and then come back.
By themselves could be dangerous, but if you have a good understanding, then yes,
No,
it happens.
sometimes it does work because they need
Yeah.
time to themselves.
Oh, yeah, I was just joking.
दूरियां जो होती है, I think marriage में, when you marriage, मेरे शादीशुदा है तो you practically married to each other. You living सुबह शाम, hello honey, bye honey इत्यादि, share Facebook वगैरह से you in front of each other. So the break means कि take a break because this is coming to divorce ना.
Yeah, बिल्कुल.
घर हमारे तुम्हारे लड़कन बच्चन इत्यादि इत्यादि, तो उसमें break के मतलब ये है कि go. Take some time out, chill out time. 1 साल लेना चाहते हैं तो 1 साल तो नहीं लेना चाहिए. Take about say couple of months and or go on a holiday, 8 days or 10 days or 15
Long
days.
boat cruise.
Don't go to Maldives, by the way.
South Pole जा रहे हैं
Well,
लोग.
Param, what you're saying, Param, is very important because the environment you live in, वो जब कच-कच चलता है, जो environment आप होते हैं, तो you don't think right.
Yeah,
So
बिल्कुल.
once you actually remove yourself or allow other person कि उनको भी time दो, and even if एक person को जाना है बाहर भी, तो when you actually go out, one thing is जो separation होता है, then you start thinking everything about your marriage. It's a way that you want to come back, and then you have a neutral mind. You have to put your whatever you're thinking as your advantage. You got to take that out. Be neutral.
और अपने disadvantage से भी देख सकते हैं.
Of
वो
course,
दूरियां जो
of
होती है,
course.
you start
But you-
analyzing the situation.
But you don't have to just put your focus on your advantages. What are you getting out of this? You got to think very neutrally, and which environment. It's a different environment, so you get
And
time
don't
to
go
think.
with your friends and don't go with
No,
your
no,
family.
not with them.
Because
Yeah.
influence.
Influence.
Yeah.
Oh, बिल्कुल.
Neutral.
घर ले लो
That's
तो
the bad thing,
basically.
actually. So I agree.
That's the
That
sort of-
separation is
Yes,
important,
very
and I think
important.
when you come back, and when you meet each other, there is a mutual respect,
Yes.
and then you sit down and you
Reanalyze
want to
the
listen. You
situation,
want to
yes.
listen to each other,
Yes.
and then sometimes that bond is very important, and you tend to sort of start missing what you actually had. Sometimes we don't realize what we have until we have lost
अरे
it.
सवेरे उठो, बाद बने रोटी मिले, एकदम बोले गरम गरम रोटी आलू तरकारी
पराठा।
आप बोले बनाए पड़े, खुद बोले बिस्किट ला खाना खाए पड़े, कार्डबोर्ड ला कौन सी बोले उसके विड बिस्किट
BBC.
खाए पड़े, कार्डबोर्ड. So these are things you start missing in life. Look, there's always pros and cons.
Yeah.
Like, not because कि खराब रही या खराब रहा, कुछ ना कुछ गड़बड़ी सब में है. Everybody has got a
Yeah.
We're not
problem.
perfect, right.
So going back to those things of the breakout time, don't go with your family, don't go with your friends. Go neutral. पकड़ो बस, या तो पकड़ो कोई ना ट्रिप बुक करो, जाओ.
बिल्कुल.
या
इसीलिए
उसको
और कुछ
this
लोग
is
ऐसे
why I said we have to
करते
go
हैं,
alone.
वो डिवोर्सी के संगत करते हैं.
कौन?
कुछ लोग ऐसे होते हैं
Family में जाते हैं,
फैमिली में,
शाम-
or they go and meet with other divorced men or women. उसमें that's one of the worst things you could do.
And advice, don't take advice from your friends. You know, or even professional advice. Lawyer के लगे आप जाओगे, तो lawyer will actually not, because they'll charge you the fees.
So it is in their best interest to actually have the case.
Divorce.
और जैसे वैसे बोलते हैं, जैसे दुनिया में 3 प्रकार के लोग रहते हैं. एक जो इफ़ यू आस्क एनीवन, अभी आप डिवोर्स करने जा रहे हो, एंड अभी किसी से पूछो, दे विल ट्राई टू गिव यू समथिंग बिकॉज एवरीवन वांट्स टू टॉक. लेकिन द 3 टाइप्स ऑफ पीपल, एक जो टॉपिक को जानते हैं, दे कैन टॉक अबाउट इट. एक जो टॉपिक को जानते नहीं है बट दूसरों के बारे में सुना है, दे विल ट्राई टू गिव यू एडवाइस. और जो एक पीपल है जो दे डोंट नो एनीथिंग, neutral people, they'll still try to give you some advice. So it's important कि कहाँ से आप information को लेते हो, because the family and friend influence is very huge. जब आपका marriage breakdown होता है, everyone will say कैसे हुआ, क्या हुआ.
कैसे छोड़ दिया, कहाँ छोड़
They
दिया?
want to know, and you don't have to tell people, because why people want to know, so that they can actually go
Gossip.
वो आपका बात लेकर फिर दूसरों को फैलाते
Gossip
हैं. That's what
करते हैं.
people want to know.
And you have to hear both sides of the story, सुनना चाहिए.
Exactly.
See, yeah, true. If you're gonna abuse your husband, for example, take your time out from your husband. It will give the time for husband to analyze कि अरे हम उसके मारे तरह पीटे तरह हमें गरम गरम रोटी मिले तरह रोज से वेरे एग्जांपल आज है नहीं 4 हफ्ता से 8 हफ्ता से का करे कुछ रोटी नहीं मिले कपड़ा नहीं आइन है कपड़ा में ई करे के वो करे के these are all the issues that male can do and similarly the female same stories so that breakout time is so important अगर kids है तो kid को किसी न्यूट्रल जगह पे है तो इन लॉज के साथ छोड़ सकते हैं तो somebody's care and that break is so important I think and this is coming from my experience in my actual life that I would have analyzed and I think कि हाँ अगर हम ये करते तो अच्छा होता similarly what I did from my experience we stayed under one roof and said look हम लोग decide करते हैं कि ये क्या होगा okay we want to get divorced but let's analyze the situation and stayed in the same house but is it changing anything by living in the same house?
No. It's just because the environment, the energy is
Nothing
there.
changed. No?
Yeah, it's very hard.
The pros and the cons and the issues are still there.
It can be negative because if you have children, they're listening to the kach kach. I think from the age of 3 years to 5 years, children have a good memory. It gets imprinted in their cognitive part of their brain, you know.
Sure.
They're listening, they're hearing, body language, and it stays. I remember a lot of things when I was 4 or 5 years old. Good things, bad things.
It's a big impact on the kids as well, basically.
Yeah.
So
they get really
the break
disturbed.
time is so
Maybe it
important.
doesn't solve anything under
And
the
I
roof.
think that is personally, I think the break time is so important. अगर आप 6 महीने ले सकते हो, move out to another place, for example. If you want to move out to another place. Have something mutual. If you want to meet once a week, for example, to चलो coffee पीते. Or if you don't want to have that, these are, I think personally, that's my reason for it कि divorce करने से पहले ये breakout time होनी चाहिए. And if you're living in any other country for काम के लिए जाते हैं, I know so many technicians that actually go to Perth for 4 weeks or 5 weeks and they leave the women behind. Similarly, some females that actually are here hostess, for example. You know, they are away from one country to the other. That's why you'll find majority of the nurses, they're not married, for example, because they can't commit in a relationship.
Yes.
अब जैसे वैसे हम देखें जैसे you know people who are married अगर जैसे आप अपने बीवी को या अपने पति को दिन भर नहीं देखे तो शाम को मन करता है उनको देखने को ना that's because there's a separation it's a small interval of separation but still that wants to take you back and you want to go and talk to her you want to meet her you want to see her you look forward to things and that's
if there's love you always look forward
exactly and that break जैसे आपने बोला वो बड़ा break जब होता है then जो मन का जो संतुलन होता है वो होता है you don't want to go back I want to be
no जी sorry to butt in flip side of quickly इसलिए कभी-कभी बोलते हैं कि husband and wife should not work together.
Yeah, exactly.
There is a thing. Sorry, carry on.
No, it's a good point because you see each other's
you
face.
can work together provided
you don't
draw the
see
line.
each other.
No, you draw the line कि look this is work घर के बाद घर होगा ये work है we have to be झगड़ा करो doesn't matter घर आओ खत्म.
नहीं
I was more alluding to not seeing each other for a second.
Yeah, because it's face to face. No?
Then you're looking forward to
कैसे
it.
झगड़ा करके
It's our body is like our emotions are like this. जैसे अभी आपने कुछ बहुत दिन लड्डू नहीं खाया है तो फिर क्या होगा
आज खाएंगे
लड्डू और जब खाएंगे तो ढेर खाएंगे ना
दांत चढ़ाएंगे और डायबिटीज ऊपर जाएगा.
तो ऐसे तरह हम that's how we are designed ना so the separation है वो छोटी मोटी से जैसे बहुत लोग ट्रस्ट नहीं करते हैं अपने वाइफ को ना वो हस्बैंड को जैसे वो कहीं गया है कहाँ गया है चेक करते हैं ये करते हैं लेकिन दैट ट्रस्ट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट जब वो ट्रस्ट आप उनको दोगे तो वो भी आपको वो पर्सन जो है आपका जो पार्टनर है वो भी आपको ट्रस्ट करेगा.
Once again, the break time is very important. I'll chip in very quickly because if your wife or husband is having an affair, take that time out. कोई जासूस लगा दो उसके पीछे. तो हमें दिखता थी. I think this आज के जो current world में these things are available. iPhones are available and a lot of things are available. चुपके से लगा सकते. So जासूस लगा दो. आप दूसरे कंट्री में बैठे आएगा आपको पता चलेगा कि yes should you divorce or should you not. हार्ड कॉपी मिलेगा आपको, फोटो मिलेगा, वीडियो मिलेगा. आप हंस के मिले यार.
Why am I? क्योंकि we actually have not covered the social media as a cause of separation and divorce. That's why I was laughing. You came straight to the topic because we actually have not formally mentioned. वो भी एक बहुत बड़ा कारण बन गया.
I did
social media. That's why I was smiling.
mention about social media. Why
Facebook and internet. So that's why I was smiling.
It all boils down to trust. We're talking about divorce. Divorce, ना?
Because trust जो होता है जैसे बोलते हैं ना जैसे आपने बोला अभी हम बात कर रहे थे ट्रस्ट के बारे में जैसे वैसे jealousy आ जाता है ना. So jealousy in a way jealousy is cute. not in that way, but just say you want to protect your relationship ना, you don't want anyone to violate your relationship, but वो jealousy अगर बदल जाता है fight में, and then you become violent, that becomes an issue.
I mean, jealousy दो तरह की होती है ना.
I said cutest, the cute way of jealousy.
Jealousy is important because you don't have to go to the extreme of the jealousy part of it.
I think communication नहीं होगा तो jealousy extreme हो जाता है. You need to divulge, communicate, and basically have the cards on the
be
table.
open. You have to disclose things. You know,
That's the
अभी
word.
जैसे आप दिन में
Disclosure
किसी
is
लड़की से
important.
बात किया है और घर पर जाके नहीं बताया और
किसी ने
नहीं बता दिया तो you just go and tell, you know, I met so and so and I talked and then
Honesty is
आप partner भी
important.
सोचेगी, you know, he came and told me.
I'll just mention something. You know what the best thing is? He's basically in your wife. You should see your wife as your best friend, as your best mate. And same thing with a husband. I mean, the wife should see in the husband is her best friend. Basically, there should be a lot of understanding.
Friendship is very. That's when the disclosure comes in,
through.
because you wanna commit to telling everything, because you treat them as a friend. Because अगर वैसे रहेगा तो हम हिचकिचाएंगे. अगर आदमी एक बार बोला ये क्यों किया तो औरत बार के लौट के आगे नहीं बताएगी आपको, क्योंकि डर लगता है ना, कैसे बताएगा, तो that becomes an issue.
Can I just chip in here quickly? Experience की बात करते हैं. This is all good, but हम अपने कौम में देखते हैं, फिजी वाले कौम के देखते हैं. Again, cause कि some people might not like this. उसका जो इमोशनल एजुकेशन और डेवलपमेंट काफ़ी स्टंटेड है. दे डोंट सी इट लाइक दैट. हमारा ये फैमिली में और कभी जो एक्सपीरियंस है कि हम वेस्टर्न सोसाइटी में रहते हैं, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में रहते हैं. वी आर इन वन ऑफ द मोस्ट डेवलप्ड नेशंस. सो दिस इज अनदर कोज कि भाई हम जब यहाँ रहते हैं, यहाँ का रहन सहन, यहाँ आदमी, इफ यू मैरिड टू एन एग्जीक्यूटिव और टीवी फिल्म पर्सनैलिटी, you will be dealing with a lot of there will be a gender bias there. Even
सुंदर लड़की रही है.
transsexual से भी बात करेंगे.
Take example for you, doctor. You're a doctor. You see a lot of chicks. I mean, in a set, women's के भी आप देखते होंगे, दांत उखाड़ते होंगे, कोई अच्छी होंगे, ना थोड़ा सा पी पे भी आप करते होंगे.
नहीं, we are professional. We joke, we talk.
I work with women, 99% women.
And half the time it's good to get them. Nobody wants to have an injection in their mouth.
True.
तो वो techniques होते. कभी we joke with them. We make them. Accepting the treatment, but anyway, I won't digress there. Another subject. We're making a movie about that actually, by the way. तो ये है कि हमारे जो फिजी के जो ladies है, with all due respect to them, some of them are educated, they even have degrees. हमारे वो थोड़ा backward nature है कि they do not allow the male, or it goes the both way, by the way. I'm not a misogynist. Males भी वैसे होते. They can't allow their partners or wives to go out and be in the society. कहीं मीटिंग है, वहाँ पर किसी के संगे they have a coffee, और कहीं कॉन्फ्रेंस है और किसी ने बताया उसके संगे बात करता रहा. भाई वो प्रोफेशनल लोग हैं ना.
जैसे कि बोले रेडियो में ममता रेडियो में बात करे ना, फॉर एग्जांपल किसी ने कहा कि बोले ममता रेडियो में बात करे, तो बीवी कहती है तुम क्या रेडियो में जा, लड़की लोग बैठा रही बोले वहाँ पे, तो रेडियो चेक करे मत.
So this is a form of backwardness of our Fiji society.
आपने very important thing, because देखा हौसला, जो इंसान का हौसला होता है, everyone has a dream, right? हौसला तो
ख्वाहिश पूरा होना चाहिए.
जब आप मैरिज लाइफ में होते हैं तो आपका हौसला कभी कभी रुक जाता है, क्योंकि दो अपोजिंग पार्टनर है, बोलता है नहीं ये नहीं करो. लेकिन हौसला जो है, यू ऑलवेज हैव टू सपोर्ट योर पार्टनर व्हाट ही और शी वांट्स टू डू. जैसे मैं अपना बताऊं, मैं मेरे बीबी, मैंने बोला मैं रेडियो में बात करूंगा, शी इज बिहाइंड मी. मैंने बोला मैं डिजाइनिंग करना चाहता हूं, शी इज बिहाइंड मी. मैं गोल्फ खेलने जाता हूं, वो गोल्फ नहीं खेलती है, बट शी कम्स एंड वॉक्स विद मी बिकॉज शी अंडरस्टैंड्स माय पैशन. वैसे वो जिम जाती है, वो और कुछ करना चाहती है, कुछ मैं उसके साथ में जाता हूँ, and we do it together. So ऐसा लगता है you try to support your partner. You have to do things that they like, and you have to, even if you don't like it, you support them, you give them encouragement.
Very good point. कभी कभी हम like भी नहीं कर रहे, but the team effort है, वो बैठेंगे संगे.
Of course, yeah.
That's why I said, you got to see, I mean, in your partner, you got to see as your best friend or best mate.
My wife doesn't like fishing, but she'll sit there road पे कुछ पकड़ी इसके लिए 1 घंटा हो गया, बोले but she was अच्छा थोड़ा देर मार लो, थोड़ा देर और so this is a little point.
And it's a two-way traffic, see?
Yeah.
You got to do the same thing with your wife as well.
But once again, I must strictly or not strictly, I must emphasize that कि अगर आपका husband जो है is a gambler, and it's a compulsive gambler, for example, then you have to have that take out time and then reanalyze the situation.
Because they need help.
Yeah.
Or if your husband is very abusive, and I think personally you need help, they need help. These are some causes of marriage. If your husband is not spending time with you, or not home, for example, optimum amount of time are spent job wise, for example, पैसे कमाने के लिए, or any other points do you think?
Well, I think जैसे I'll add into the career orientation. बहुत लोग ऐसे होते हैं, they spend a lot of time in career. They want to actually excel to reach a certain point. Either it could be a money, be a motivation.
Career
उसमें जब focus बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, you got to get that balance because otherwise if you focus too much on one thing, you're losing on the other side.
बिल्कुल. True.
sacrifice करना है.
So I think it is so important that this break time once again is so important in marriage before divorce करने के लिए आप सोच रहे हैं because nobody wins. The court wins, the lawyers make a lot of money. And आप लोग शायद ये सोच रहे हो कि परम जी आपने ये टॉपिक क्यों उठाया? Because I deal 99% I deal with women. And basically I see patients who are weird.
Bone pathology.
Yeah. And they come up with all these things. बूढ़े जो हैं, जो बुजुर्ग हैं, they give you a different advice of life. आप उनसे पूछते हैं कि how do you look good, they'll give me their advice. And divorce cases में कुछ single है, कुछ नहीं है, they will give you some different advice. So experience के मुताबिक से these are the things that become us husbands. Some of them are very abusive. Once again, some of them are gamblers. Some of them got a fetish for cars, very expensive cars. Some like रात भर बैठ के नोना पियो, गैंग लोग के संग टाइम करो. जैसे कि आपने फरमाया कि टाइम इज सो इम्पोर्टेंट. बैलेंस होना बहुत ही जरूरी है लाइफ में. नॉट जस्ट पैसा कमाओ.
एक बात में एक मुद्दा जैसे हमारा जो व्यवहार होता है बिटवीन द कपल्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. बिटवीन मेल एंड फीमेल हम बात कैसे करते हैं. अक्सर हम कभी कभी जाते टेंशन नहीं, वो कोई घुड़क के बोलता है ना, बोला कि यहाँ कोई क्रोकोडाइल तो नहीं आएगी इससे. इट कैन बी अ मैन स्पीकिंग टू द वाइफ और द वाइफ टू द मैन. तो इन अ पब्लिक प्लेस वेयर से कहीं फंक्शन पार्टी दे वन पर्सन मस्ट टू गो होम कॉमन ना, तो वो आके बोलते हैं कि चलो उठो और समथिंग लाइक और कितना देर बैठिए और समथिंग लाइक दैट. ओ बैठना ना, आई एम नॉट being racist or something. I'm not racist, sir. Misogynist, woman hater. By the way, misogynist means woman hater. कि people don't know. I'm saying both sides. कि आदमी आता है बोले कि तुम अभी जाता है बोले नंगोना पी ले बोले घंटा और थोड़ा वो अच्छा से बोला है ना कि खाली हो जाए 2-3 बॉल बचा है तब द वाइफ विल बी हैप्पी. बोले ठीक है बोले इतना बोले लास्ट बॉल है ना. और द अदर साइड इट माइट बी द मेल माइट से कि बोले हमें क्या होता है हम तो खलास करके अब एक और चली बोले सबको बैठा. तो वो जो द लैंग्वेज इज सो इम्पोर्टेंट. इट्स अ पर्सनल थिंग.
क्लासिक एग्जांपल सही
घुड़कना नहीं चाहिए
सिचुएशन में. जैसे व्हेन वी आर मैरिड वी टेक इट फॉर ग्रांटेड. ठीक है, you should never take your marriage for granted. You should always work on your relationship. Always should work on relationship.
Especially if it's very, very nice and something good about it. Because obviously when you got married, you loved each other.
Preserve it, nurture it.
You always focus. तो जैसे अब मेरी बीवी है, मैं उससे अगर घुड़क के बात करूँ, चीज़ ना वो फाइन है ना. लेकिन वही पब्लिक से फिर मैं बात करूँ. जैसे मैं एक रोज अभी वुलवर्ड्स में था, तो फनी ना एक और इंडियन कपल वहाँ पे थे. तो जो औरत है probably Fiji because the language was Fijian ना, और डायलेक्ट. तो वो जो हिंदुस्तानी औरत थी वो ट्रॉली ढकेल रही थी. तो उसका जो आदमी था वो आगे था, तो औरत ने उसको ट्रॉली मार दी. तो फिर उसने बोली कि कैसे तुम आगे चलता है, दिखाई नहीं का तुम्हें. this is exactly what she said to the husband. It was actually her fault because I was actually right there and then. But तो ऐसे हुआ. मैं सोचा इसका दिमाग देखो. Anyway, वो 2 मिनट से पहले ऐसा ही probably another 60 seconds में वो जो लेडी थी उसने एक और आदमी को ट्रॉली मार दिया और वो गोरा था. तो जल्दी से अप्रोजेटिक होगी, सॉरी मैंने आई एम वेरी सॉरी दैट. मैंने सोचा देखो एक आदमी है, उनको घुड़क कैसे डाल दिया. और फिर देखो इधर इट्स नॉट योर ट्रू नेचर ना. अगर आपको किसी को ट्रीट करना है, अगर आपको अपना ट्रीट योर वाइफ द सेम वे और ट्रीट योर हस्बैंड द सेम वे. यू शुडंट ड्रॉल बिकॉज कभी कभी हम नहीं बोलते हैं बट हमारे दिल में लग जाता है कि हमारे औरत जब घुड़क के हमें कुछ बोलती है but we don't say it sometimes.
It works both ways.
Very good point. It works both ways because that's why otherwise if you start taking your relationship for granted, the other person will never work hard or you would never work hard and the marriage will actually break. So बहुत important है कि how you say things, how you actually pledge things, how you talk. That important time is very important as well.
और मेरा पास एक वो बाद में करेंगे solution में आएंगे. I got 3 points on the solution.
But currently we're discussing the body of the marriage, which is divorce, for example. कि क्यों divorce होता है और काहे के divorce हुए हैं.
So this is a form of abuse, I think. And in my experience, it's normally जो male होता है, they are saying it against the woman often, male dominating ना. But increasingly हम देखते हैं women यहाँ पर they got more power, financial, they have a job, they're more independent. That's another cause
कहते हैं जिंदगी में कि तुम आई हो मेरी जिंदगी में बाहर बनकर, चाहे मेल कहता है या तो फीमेल कहती है। और इसी तरह से प्यार बन के रहना, दैट सॉन्ग इज अ वेरी गुड सॉन्ग, आपने शायद देखे होंगे फिल्म, आई विल प्ले इट नॉट सून। एंड व्हेन यू गेट मैरिड कि आप बाहर बन के मेरी जिंदगी में आई हैं, इसी तरह रहना, those are the शब्द रचना ने लिखा मैंने। So I think marriage में ये it is very important before the divorce process, so please do take out time before you think. Let's take a break, guys. And let's any more thoughts before I take
just
a break?
concluding on that women power, ki women are getting more no, they're getting more power. Let's face it, they got better jobs, sometimes they're more qualified than the men.
आप anti तो नहीं है ना doc?
No. Okay. And sometimes they're earning more. No, I promote
women culture.
I promote empowering women, because I think they are downtrodden. As a professional, I see that there are some women
very good
who are actually so there's somebody working with me right now that I'm empowering. She was abused at work, but we won't go there. So I said, no, you can be the top, you can be the best in your career. So I think people who know me know that I empower women. I'm teaching somebody music at the moment in the family, and I said, look, you got a good voice, harmonia bajao, thoda sargam karo. But they do have power now, women. They are getting more educated, they're joining politics.
They are educated, yeah, come on.
Very highly.
They can do things at once.
No, but three things. But I'm saying in the couple, this is also a tension and a friction. Agar mismatch marriage ho gaya where one person is very highly
superior to the other,
superior, to wo ego mein aa jata ki that person may start thinking ki look, I'm the stronger in the relationship.
I did mention that in the bride in the beginning as well.
So the man is supposed to be the leader and the dominating thing in a metaphoric way, na? But we are seeing more and more empowering of women, and that is a big factor.
Oh, just last thing, जिसे मैंने कहा था in the beginning, you know how in between 5 to 10, 15 years the emotion dies off. I think जितने ही viewers है, especially females, males भी, but more females, मैं बताना चाहता हूँ कि it's very very important that you always dress up for your men. No matter you are at home or you are a stay-home mother or you're going to work, male always love to be attracted towards their women. If they're dressed up, they smell nice, they can do some makeups and stuff. कुछ भी जैसा हो, I think that
बाहर भी जाए makeup करके,
well I think it's not every people is not everyone is on makeup. Not everyone is on makeup, but I think when your husband comes home, he is always surrounded with other women, and he always wants her woman to look beautiful, and that outer beauty does count. We always say now internal beauty is good. Yeah, it has to be both.
There you go, Mrs. Moji.
But your outside thing is, my wife always dresses for me. I have no problems because she knows, and that's why I'm saying to women out there that even sometimes when you don't work and your husband, for example, works, when you come home, your husband sees you every day. And you got to look attractive, you got to be prepared for this person. When he comes home, he wants to see you, so always do that. It will encourage your man. He'll always want to be with you. He'll feel attracted towards you. Otherwise, that if you see the same thing every day, naturally we tend to sort of
boredom comes in.
So very very important.
Bilkul, I'll add something to that. Normally what because what normally happens is, right, I mean, I'm not going and degrading the female gender here. क्या होता हमेशा ना, जब we come back from work ना, तो हमेशा बीवी यही कहते हैं, इतना देरी कहाँ रहा, rather than saying how was work, बहुत busy
रहा, happy to see you, your life.
नहीं, things like that ना, rather than being negative about it, saying इतना देरी में आया, कहीं काम पे सोए गिरा,
वाइफ एंड हस्बैंड संगे काम करे तो बोले कि नहीं रही ना.
Things like that. I mean, the nice things about a relationship.
But remember that man has to dress up for women as well. As I said. It's very important that you should always think that your woman has the same feeling as well. Though we have a different way of seeing things, women always want their men to dress up. If you don't dress up, your woman will start looking at other men as well.
So let's take a little break.
That point you're saying is more of a cultural thing. I don't hear गोरे लोग इस तरह नहीं बोलते, but हमारे लोग बहुत बोलते कि कान में सोए गिरा और सवेरे आज.
This is not nice, na. This is
the way they say it.
Especially I've grown in Western culture. I've been since I was 18, and अक्सर हमारे लोग बोलते हैं इस तरह का comments.
बिल्कुल.
Cutting comments.
वो तीर मारते हैं ना.
Rather than saying welcome, how was work, how was your day, ना busy थे ना, नहीं. देर से क्यों आए, कहीं नहीं वहीं रहो, सो गए.
By the way, thank you for the datun.
Modern Datun.
Loji, one for you here too.
Thank you, man.
So let's take a little break in the खास तौर पे जो गाना मैं बजाने जा रहा हूँ इसको ध्यान से सुनिए आप क्योंकि इसके बारे में हम बातें करेंगे. And let's move ahead towards the closure of the program, which I hope we've covered a little bit, and let's try to convince those people that are trying to divorce or are thinking or contemplating, दिमाग में सोच रहे हैं, शैतानी जो ये मुद्दा है पेश कर रहे हैं और उसको प्रोसेस कर रहे हैं ना, पका रहे हैं.
So damaging.
How we can help stop
Divorce
it?
is
तो उसको
damage.
हम स्पाइस नहीं डालेंगे पकाने के लिए कि बताएंगे कि आपको क्या करना है.
Damage control.
Damage control. We'll come back shortly.
This year, an Indian star is born. The star is Fiji Indian TV, featuring a live web TV show covering news, current affairs, sports, Bollywood gupshup, Konchi Pakaya, Aao Chat Kare, FITV Talent Time, live coverage and more. Join us with your host Param Sivan. Fiji Indian TV, providing entertainment for the Fiji Indians around the globe. Every Sunday from 1 p.m. www.fijiindiantv.com.
जी हाँ गाइस, आए हो मेरी ज़िंदगी में तुम बाहर. बहुत अच्छे अच्छे शब्द इस गाने में इस्तेमाल किए गए हैं और ख़ास तौर पर ये गीत मैंने चुन के आपके लिए गाया क्योंकि देयर सो मेनी थिंग्स, सो मेनी नाइस वर्ड्स हैव बीन एक्सचेंज व्हिच गिव्स यू एन इन्फॉर्मेशन व्हेन यू आर मैरिड, then these are the things that the wife look and the husband looks for.
Or we can change it, all these things. I mean, like our suggestions
जैसे कि
here,
आपका डायलॉग था कि क्या डायलॉग आपका?
आए हो मेरी
अरे
जिंदगी में.
जिंदगी में बाहर बन के
मुझे बैंक कुछ रहा, बैंक बैलेंस नहीं.
आए मेरी जिंदगी में तुम बाहर बन के, मुझे छोड़ के ना जाना मेरे बैंक बैलेंस एम्प्टी करके.
ये गाना काफी शादी में लगता है आजकल एज इंट्रो सॉन्ग और इसके दो वर्जन है शायद. आई थिंक देयर इज अ मेल वर्जन टू.
Yes.
I think.
Well, let's close the chapter for today, and we're talking about divorce.
Close the arguments.
And I think we've covered quite a bit of it, although it's a very sentimental topic. But we can only help, and let's try to convince the guys who are out there or the girls that are trying to get divorced. So your thoughts will go around, and I'll बीच में मैं डांट मारते रहूँगा. So let's start.
First
How
that-
are you going to convince if you're anti or no, yes or no? आपका points and views.
3 points है मेरा. One is I would always advise people, young people, to sign a prenuptial, जिसे वेस्टर्न में करते हैं. मैंने अपने बच्चों को साफ बता दिया है, if you don't have a prenuptial, I am not coming to your wedding. Straight.
Okay.
Contract बनाओ
ठीक है.
कि what you own and when you split or divorce, because statistics is 40-50%. There's a 40-50%, especially if they marry young. I think the second point is marry as late as possible. आप जल्दी से
What
शादी
age
कर
do you
लेंगे.
think it was?
I think for males, probably a good age is probably around about 28.
Okay.
Mhm.
25 to 30. Females a bit less, 2-3 साल काट दो, but definitely even आजकल करिया है, ladies don't want to. They want
Rosie,
to
you're
travel.
too young, so you're out of it.
So I would say the later you marry, the less
Better.
time you have before you reach the mature age, a dangerous age of 35 to 40, where the most divorces happen. Theory है मेरा, right? Prenuptial sign करो कि when you divorce, तुम्हारा 60-41 नहीं होगा. अगर तुम्हारा कमाई ज़्यादा, you've earned more, you should be entitled
मेरा
to
है,
that.
वो मेरा है,
Because the
आपका-
law is the law. You can't bend the law. वो जो बोलेगा वैसे करना है. ठीक है. और secondly मेरा ये एडवाइस है कि if you buying anything, अच्छी तरह से रिसीट रखो. 20 साल बाद कोई बोलेगा ये अब मैंने कब खरीदा मेरे लिए $2,000 का हार या $3,000 का ये चीज. If you don't have any proof, everything is evidence based, भाई और बहनों. तुम्हारे पास प्रूफ एविडेंस नहीं है. मैं सबको बताता मैं फर्स्ट डिवीजन सौका था, बोले चौपा है, बोला नहीं है, बोले
अच्छा, तो आजकल
खलास.
रिसीट लोग फेड आउट हो जाए.
Fade out. Give me a point on how to preserve that.
Yes, iPhone में छापा था.
No, what
Okay,
you got to do?
sorry.
No. There's a better
Okay.
way.
Point दो पहले. Scan करो.
नहीं, it's very important because it does fade.
You lose.
It's a
जेल में
very
रहता है
very
ना,
big point.
दुकान
ना?
में जाते
So
हैं.
those are 2 points. Prenuptial sign करो. Trust is there, but the law is stronger. Secondly, सब चीज का receipt रखो. और मेरा एक hint है to the young people. Sometimes the court will require evidence कि भाई were you abusive or not. So I think sometimes mutually you should agree. If there is tension, you should tape each other's conversation while you're there. You tell the partner कि I will be taping this conversation and just listen to it. कि what is your tone of voice? How are you relating to me? Don't do it secretly. मेक श्योर दैट कभी कभी लिविंग रूम में रहते फिर उसके डिनर टाइम कॉफ़ी के संगे पूछा उन्होंने इसके बारे में बात करा था जस्ट लिसन टू व्हाट योर टोन वाज एंड यू लर्न अ लॉट साइकोलॉजिस्ट ये करते हैं you learn a lot about the emotions whether they're coming to you truly जैसे आप shopping trolley वाला बोला ना कि how are they talking to you are they actually treating you the same or not so it's a bit controversial but you can analyze a lot and then you can learn from it कि भाई हाँ मुझको थोड़ा व्यवहार थोड़ा शांतिपूर्वक बात करना है because I was a bit rough and gruff language खराब था I'm done
sorry no.
Well, मेरा तो
काफी heavy रहा
Big sigh of relief.
well we've almost come to the end of the program so summarizing the whole thing I think जितने ही viewers हैं मैं आपसे कहना चाहता हूँ कि कोई कभी शादी नहीं करता है डिवोर्स करने के लिए
exactly
अगर ऐसा होता तो हम शादी नहीं करते
exactly
ठीक है तो जो डिवोर्स का सवाल है वो उठना नहीं चाहिए फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल लेकिन जब हम शादी करते हैं तो हम बहुत वादे करते हैं बहुत प्रोमिसेस करते हैं बहुत ही बोलते हैं कि ये करेंगे वो करेंगे लेकिन शादी के बाद सिचुएशन चेंजेस और ऐसे से कुछ आ जाता है डिसरिस्पेक्ट आ जाता है बहुत जो हमने डिसीजन डिस्कस किया था देयर आर सो मेनी पॉइंट्स दैट कैन अफेक्ट योर मैरिज मेरा ख्याल है कि अगर आप अपना मैरिज को बचाना चाहते हो the most important thing is I think everyone should have a plan
fight for it
plan ऐसा होना चाहिए कि जब आप शादी करें तो make a plan for whatever period you want from 5 to smaller goals from 1 year to 2 year or to 3 year to 10 year what happens is उसमें you and your partner you know where you want to go your ideas and concepts of disagreeing or agreeing things you make a plan and जैसे आगे आप मोटर निकल के घर से चलते हो कहीं जाते हो you don't know where to go you'll go in circles so life भी ऐसा है if you make a plan you will know where you want to reach in 1 year or 6 months 1 year 3 years 5 years 10 years उसमें आप दोनों का जो मोटिवेशन है वो जगह रहेगा the inspiration रहेगा दोनों का decision same रहेगा and you will trying to achieve to a certain point otherwise क्या होता है कि you have different goals you want something else your husband wants something else he wants a new Pajero and you want a new house इसमें there will be a lot of conflicts मैं नहीं बोलता हूँ कि it will work but most of the times it will work अगर इसमें आप की कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो जाए तो there is the last thing is your समझौता जिसे मैंने शुरू में बताया था समझौता का मतलब क्या है उसको अपनाएं try to compromise because to compromise is very very important marriage life or any life is not will be a same easy ride smooth ride उसमें आएगा there will be problems like anything in life जैसे life में है problems आता है we have to go through the rides the roller coaster so उसमें क्या है कि कभी कभी जो imbalance रहता है कभी कभी rocking रास्ता रहता है you have to ride it together as one or then you'll come out of the tunnel and the bright days will come at the end of the tunnel or the other last point for me is जैसे मैंने बोला था कि कोई no one wants to have divorce जैसे हमारे लाइफ में we have mentors जैसे मैं कल किसी से बात करता जैसे we have mentors जैसे we have a doctor we have a dental doctor we go to him because we know कि अगर कभी दांत के कुछ गड़बड़ है तो हम उसके पास जाएंगे इसी तरह लाइफ में do we know anything about marriage before we go and have marriage no we are not experienced we learn through our experiences तो important चीज़ ये है कि अपना लाइफ में every facet of our life we need to have a mentor जैसे religious wise we should have a spiritual mentor we should have a marriage counselor who should always you should always take time to go to him at least once a year or twice to say this is how our life is what do you think if there are problems you can discuss with that way you are always helping yourself जैसे financial में financial mentor आपका होता है doctor आपका होता है every facet of your life you need to have a mentor and through that mentor whatever the rough rides you have उनके सहारे से आप अपने जीवन को फिर एक साथ में बना सकते हैं and then you can have a very happy good living marriage life so ये जो small points हमने डाला है hope you can take something out of this or then you can save your marriage I would prefer anyone to go through the divorce because it can be very traumatizing very hard for anyone so this is my views and points
और भैया आपका
मेरा तो भैया बस यही ख्याल है
क्या है भैया
now what I want to say I mean Doc and Najeez covered most of it the only thing is एक शादी एक ऐसा रिश्ता है I mean you basically I mean एक अटूट रिश्ता है when you two souls come together what I'll suggest is, like, we live in a very Western society at the moment. और अभी देखा जाए तो शादी तो अभी ऐसे पुराने ज़माने की नहीं हो रही है. Like what you do is जैसे माँ बाप पसंद कर लेते, then you have to go. Now अभी तो लड़का लड़की खुद के बात कर लेते हैं शादी करने के लिए. They spend time together. बहुत सारा दिन गुजारते एक दूसरे के साथ. उसके बाद में वो डिसाइड करते हैं कि शादी करने.
कोटिंग पीरियड बोलते हैं.
बिल्कुल.
आजकल कोटिंग थोड़ा लंबा हो जाता है.
बिल्कुल. Years खींच लेते हैं. Then once they're comfortable, then they actually get married. बस यही कहना चाहता हूँ कि डिवोर्स करने से पहले आप दो चीज़ सोचिएगा. पहले कि अगर आपके पास बच्चे हैं या फिर आपके पास प्रॉपर्टी वगैरह है, ये आप कैसे बांटेंगे और ये क्या इफ़ेक्ट होगा आपके और आपके परिवार के ऊपर. कोई भी नहीं चाहता है कि डिवोर्स करे, बिकॉज इट इज़ वन ऑफ द पेनफुल थिंग्स अ पर्सन के.
very damaging, traumatic.
It's a very painful thing can one individual can go through. बहुत लोगों के ऊपर बीतती है कि कुछ लोग ये जो डिसीजन है डिवोर्स का, ये बहुत जल्दबाजी में बना लेते हैं. They don't give time.
कभी रिग्रेट भी करते हैं.
बिल्कुल. तो गिव योर टाइम, जैसे कि हमने पर में बताया, टेक अ ब्रेक एंड ट्राई एंड अवॉइड इट इफ पॉसिबल डिवोर्स, बिकॉज डिवोर्स इज नॉट गुड. इट अफेक्ट्स लॉट ऑफ फैमिली मेम्बर्स का. आपका साइकोलॉजिकल इफेक्ट भी होता है आपके ऊपर भी. ऑल्दो यू आर डिवोर्स, बट आप सोचते रहते हैं ना कि बच्चे के क्या होगा. यू नो योर फैमिली, व्हाट द फैमिली फ्रेंड्स गोना थिंक अबाउट यू. देयर इज लॉट ऑफ फैक्टर्स इन्वॉल्व इन दैट. और हो सके अगर अपना जब आप मैरिज बताना चाहते हैं तो एक दूसरे के साथ try and share your feelings with each other. Be friends with each other. ये नहीं कि आप जैसे कि मैंने पहले बोला, आप घर आते हैं तो बीवी आपके ऊपर चिल्लाती है. That shouldn't work that way. आप उनसे बातें कीजिएगा ना. Try and share your day's work, your feelings with your partner. इस तरह से आप डिवोर्स को बचा सकते हैं. And that's all I got to say, कि हो सके तो try and save it. Don't go that channel to divorce, because it's very painful.
It's traumatic path.
बिल्कुल.
Well, I think thank you guys for the views, and obviously I'll start tomorrow again with my
you have to
my
wrap
views,
up, sir.
and
Wrap up.
I'll give my views basically. And the first thing I would like to say, if you want to divorce, if you are ready for divorce, go for it. And सहमत शायद नहीं होंगे कुछ लोग यहाँ से, लेकिन I think personally, if you are ready for divorce, go for it. If you are ready for divorce, go for it. And if you are not ready for divorce, take a break, because I think it's not a good thing. Yes, divorce is not a good thing because nobody wants it. But why be unhealthy in a relationship when you're not happy? So take that leap. If you're unhealthy, it's damaging, and if it is causing you or giving you sicknesses in life, and if it's affecting your job, because personally I have experienced. A technician came. He was very short mood, and he just blasted me off. And later I found out that he was having problems at home. So he's divorced now. But those issues can change somebody else's life. The next minute or the next second you're driving, it can affect you.
Can cause an accident.
Cause an accident. If you're a pilot, for example, it's a different issue. So I think if you're ready, go for it, because everybody doesn't want to divorce. And secondly, take out your time. If you want to divorce, make sure that plans are in books and papers, especially books and papers. Write it down. कि भाई हम ये डिवोर्स करना चाहते हैं. Let your families know, let your friends know that you're parting in a good cause. कि we have made the decision. Although some people don't want to say, because they don't want to share it with the family and friends, because it's a divorce is a not good thing. Why divorce? But if you want to divorce, share it with your family and friends. Say we're going. I mean, I certainly shared with my friends and families that I'm departing. So do that. Kids involved, make some note over there as well. Ki what is happening, the kids access as well, and especially property. Just doctor ne touch kiya. Prenuptial is very important for young people, and also the older people that are getting married again these days. Prenuptial is
maybe more important. They have more assets, and they're once bitten, twice shy.
Yes. So the law is catching up on these days. The laws are changing day to day, and we should be up to it. We should keep up with the law. To some extent, हमारे जो कर्तव्य, हमारे रिलीजन, हमारे सभ्यता, संस्कृति जो है वो अब चेंज हो रही है because of the new laws that are coming into the society. So these days में हम रहते हैं तो we have to abide those laws, unfortunately. So in a short, that's it for me, guys. And if you want to divorce, go for it. And if you want to save your divorce, take a break. Very simple. Life is very simple. We complicate it with so many things, and I think so many factors were given in today as to why. it's a very broad topic कि काहे divorce होता है, and those reasons you can talk to it. Don't go to a lawyer for advice before divorce, because that will always be not good, because as someone said, lawyer lies. Lawyer lies. So don't even talk to, make your own decision. Don't talk to a friend, don't talk to a family, don't look for good things, because when you're about to divorce you'll be looking for some sort of reasons. So take a time, take a break time. I think it's a very, very important. Chill time is very important. What do you think, guys? कैसा लगा मैं?
Most very good nutshell में आप नारियल की खोपड़ी में सब पूरा गरी निकाल दिया है.
You summarize well.
Summarize well. Just a quick point. Life after divorce, that can be another subject. Some people are survivors.
Well, the song I'm going to play is,
they are survivors. Other people they get into bad habits, gambling, drinking. They go down very rapidly, affects their health, and they have a short life. So I think that after divorce, your life should actually be more prolonged. It should be more fulfilling, more productive, and more enlightenment. And you basically really free to do the things that you once wanted to. आपको जो दबाव था मेरे ख्याल में, especially with the males, they take divorce worse than women generally, I think. So I think survivors club होना चाहिए कि भाई, it's not the end of the world, it's not the end of your life, it's the beginning of your life, and this is when you can really do. That's my point.
Well, yes, as far as we're not encouraging divorce here, but at that stage when people have reached that, we try to avoid it as much as we can. But if you have reached that point where there's no other way to turn back, you have tried every avenues and everything you have done from your side, it hasn't worked, and then the ultimate is that you have made a decision that you want to go on that path, then I think it is important that yes, how you look into the positives, how it will actually progress your life. But at the same time, on the hindsight, you shouldn't go ahead and do things to stop other person on the other end of the side growing. You would want to help them to go out of this relationship and flourish from there and enjoy their life as well. That is the most important, because a lot of marriages, when it finishes, it's very bitter, and we actually try to destroy the other partner, and that is the last thing you should ever do, because it will destroy you, not the other person.
Very true, very true. And I think we would like to acknowledge those people that have actually heard this program and give us some inputs today on their personal experiences. And also the last thing I want to touch is my heart goes to those people that are divorced, that for some reason have been in an abusive relationship, for example, that husband or wife has an affair for that reason. These are some of the causes that I suppose are very important in life. Those people must be wondering, I'm not going to move ahead in life because my husband was a very abusive husband, for example. It puts a scar in the life for the rest of their life, especially if kids are involved. So my heart goes to these people, because you don't know what to say to them, because किस तरह के psychological
they will need counseling. Those people need counseling.
किस तरह कुछ लोग ऐसे होते हैं, psychological treatment भी लेते हैं, फिर भी उस जंगल में से निकल नहीं पाते ना. So my heart goes to those people, those who have been in a very, very bad relationship, but pick up your pieces. And I think you would like to probably add on to that by giving you positive thoughts, what they should really do towards this sort of a thing, No, Gigi.
Well, जैसे आपने बोला है परम कि where people go from here is important, ना.
What happens life after
divorce. मैंने बोला है कि अगर if you sit for another 5 years and 10 years and you don't know where you're moving, then you are hindering your life, because that 10 years is wasted. That 10 years you could have moved in your life path, in your career path, in anything you wanted to do, because that is wasting of time. So as soon as, yes, you need a recovery period, you need some time out. I think if you are actually planning to have a divorce, you need to take some time, a break from work, from your friends. There should be a season of separation where you actually take yourself away from the environment, away from the place, so you forget everything, and you go to a new place, see new things, come back revived, and then you are ready to start your life. Because अगर आप वो environment में बैठे रहोगे, the only chances, the things that gonna happen is आप या शराब के सहायता ले लोगे या ऐसे कुछ कर लोगे अपनी जिंदगी में, then you'll become very depressed and you will never be able to come out of it. तो important है, you take a break, you come back, you are ready for it.
Stop, revive, survive.
And then you gotta charge your engine and hit the highway of life again, because you can't be a parked car on the road, because if people even want to give you a jumper, you will say I don't want the jumper. So you have to hit the highway of life and start life again, new beginning, new fresh environment, and there is someone out there for you. Remember that. Isaac Abine Sonja, sometimes it takes 5 years or 10 years, but the right person will come in your life at the right time. It wouldn't happen just like in the flick of a lightning. It will come slowly, and then you go like, you know what, this is the time. That's why I said समय का इंतजार बहुत important है. You have to give time. Our time has answers for everything.
Best healer.
So it will happen. And if you are out there who is actually separated right now, or is looking for a partner, is desperate and is annoyed or is feeling depressed, don't worry, there is someone out there for you. But keep looking at the signs and symptoms, and someone will actually come and cross your path and just sweep you out of your feet and take you in with your hands. So hopefully that will happen. But as I said, don't ever try to destroy the other person. Don't do that, please. That's my advice for today.
And if you are in a relationship and you are looking अगर divorce process में जा रहे हैं, don't look for maram patti. Don't look for sites
Band-Aid.
like Facebook and say, look, you know, somebody tries to say, oh, you look pretty, or you know, you look this and that, and don't look for things like that, because they are fulfilling and they're nourishment to your bones, as they say in church terms, in biblical references. They say it's nourishment to your bones. Good words, good thoughts are nourishment to your bones, and bad thoughts are obviously poison to your bones. So if you don't have bones, you don't stand. It's only your skin. So don't go to social sites like that. Don't go to, you know, cast friends for advice. You know, time is very important. And then the closing thoughts, good points. Any good thoughts you would like to pass?
Sometimes people get into a knee-jerk relationship after a divorce.
Knee-jerk, अच्छा उसका मतलब समझा मैं.
चक्के में, you know,
चक्के.
first person they
Knee-jerk,
might meet. How do you say it? And then they get involved in a relationship. That could be quite damaging, actually. You know, I've known a lot of people, and you get it from the frying pan into the fire, into the lovo pit. It's a really bad relationship. So you know, it's got to be careful. Secondly, social media is not that bad. A lot of people have met their wives and partners. As long as you are cautious and you don't start sharing emotions on that, you know, in the sky, on the internet, and it should be a one-to-one. Relationships are personal, you know.
But जैसे परम ने बोला है कि as soon as you finish your divorce, you shouldn't do this straight away, because you're still in that environment with the same circle of friends.
आपने knee-jerk reaction करके, you know, start already. Just take a break, as you said.
And
Yeah,
your
true.
thoughts, Jeet?
नहीं बिल्कुल I mean basically just remember one thing, guys, कि you got to keep yourself happy, because if you're happy, you've got a good health. I mean, just remember one thing: human beings are selfish. Basically, they look after themselves. So, if you're not happy, then that gives you a bad health.
And on that point, if you don't look after yourself, nobody else will. Especially बुढ़ापे में.
Bilkul. So you got to do what your heart says and your mind says. If you want to be happy, if you think you will be happy by moving forward, so do that.
जैसे डॉक आपने कहा जो relationship just after the divorce, because क्या होता है, people don't realize you can't press the sabotage button again and again. जैसे एक mistake आपने अभी कर दिया है, you gotta do the same mistake. You are actually doing the same mistake very soon. So अगर एक हर लोग तो mistake करते हैं, लेकिन you gotta learn from your broken marriage or your divorce, and then how you gotta execute your next life from there. What you're gonna do, you gotta sit down, make all the points where you were wrong, what happened, analyze it, and then take that as a refresher for you, so that you don't go. Otherwise, 5 years down the track, you go like, oh, you know what? I made the same mistake again. A lot of people do this. They make the same mistake over and over again, and that actually सीखते नहीं हैं कुछ. तो सीखना बहुत ज़रूरी है. एक मिस्टेक किया है, ठीक है, everyone makes mistake, but वो मिस्टेक से अगर आप सीख लिया है, you have changed your lifestyle, वो बहुत important है. Because society will always say to you कि you know you made a mistake. Society अगर आप 10 चीज़ अच्छा किया है, society will never talk about it.
Very
खराब काम हो गया है,
very unforgiving.
But important thing is that you don't make that mistake again. Try to analyze the situation, try to work on it, try to work what went wrong and how it went wrong, and then work towards it, so that in the next marriage, or if you're thinking of settling again, then your life is fruitful and you are happy with it.
So, Doc, have we convinced you that you shouldn't be divorcing?
Divorce is a bad thing. You should avoid it and prevent it. It causes damage. But आपसे मैं काफी सहमत हूँ कि if you've reached that end point, your back is against the wall, as it were, emotionally, I think it's torture and suffering to prolong the suffering. जानवर सफरिंग है, त्वचा है, उसको दाग देते ना कि भाई एक घोड़ा गिर गया है तो you have to shoot the marriage, unfortunately. But as we all हम सब सहमत है, avoid it. It's a bad thing. It has repercussions. Most people who are separated or divorced years later will look at mostly the good side. We tend to forget the bad side. We should. And they say, look, this was a good relationship, or you had children, or this was the life. पुराना photos देखते हैं, birthday में जाते हैं, you meet people and it brings back some memories. But you have moved on by then, and it's better to move on early rather than late, because divorce takes years out of your life.
Well, guys, with this thought, we are going to leave you today, and hopefully we have convinced you not to divorce or not to divorce. And I hope our research, whatever we did today and whatever good thoughts we put forward is there to help you. And अगर किसी कारणवश हम लोगों की कोई ऐसी बात जोक में हो या तो फिर आपको अच्छी
माफ कर देना,
हम आपके सेंसिटिव टॉपिक में टच कर चुके हैं तो हम माफ़ी चाहते हैं. And we know it's not a good topic to talk on. And from us, I think this is all. And next week topic के ऐलान मैं ये करना चाहता हूँ, talking on depression. So, it's a
मानसिक
very big issue.
बीमारी,
Once again, we'll do a thorough research, I think, from medical field, three of us, कि why do people go through depression and what causes depression. So I think we should look into it. It's because it's increasing in our young children these days. हमारे family में भी room के अंदर बंद रहते हैं. And the causes of it, pros and cons. Once again, guys, what is depression?
UK का latest statistic BBC थे है कि 1 in 6 has some form of mental depression.
Yes.
1 in 6 in the UK.
Yep.
There's a topic just this week on BBC on the health channel. So we'll research that.
हमारे पूर्व कहते हैं कि वो जस्ती पढ़ ली से.
मानसिक बीमारी.
We'll leave you guys and come on, that's all done, guys?
Yeah.
That was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Enjoyed it,
Very good, guys.
Very nice.
I think we haven't offended anybody. Everything we've said, कोई ना कोई experience जरूर किया होगा, whether it's a positive or a negative.
There's some good points people should take out of this episode, because some people
forgive and forget, I think.
बिल्कुल.
जो भी बात है भूल जाइए, भूल के आगे बढ़िए.
And जितने viewers है, thanks for listening and watching.
And I think the most important thing you don't forget in divorce is love. Very important, because you always remember that love. No?
It's a lasting point में जैसे we should, अगर मेरे से move हो गया, you should burn the bridges and move forward.
Love.
You shouldn't go back into it, because if you keep, it will haunt you. You shouldn't go back. You should
And you'll
burn the bridges and
end
move
it and then move forward.
It will
basically.
also hinder your emotional and sort of क्या बोलते हैं, तुम्हारा outlook in life, because life is short. You need to grow.
Yeah.
And your creativity, तुम्हारा creativity.
Yes. All done, guys. I'll leave you with a nice song, and I think this song is going to sum up everything.
Nisambula to everybody. Thank you, Najib.
Next week,
again.
guys.
Next week, depression, we'll talk about
Yes,
it.
next week.
Paramji.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, boys.
This year, an Indian star is born. The star is Fiji Indian TV, featuring a live web TV show covering news, current affairs, sports, Bollywood gupshup, Konchi Pakaya, Aao Chat Kare, FITV Talent Time, live coverage and more. Join us with your host Param Sivan. Fiji Indian TV, providing entertainment for the Fiji Indians around the globe. Every Sunday from 1 p.m. www.fijiindiantv.com. Be there.